Hello and welcome, DCL fans. We're here for week 1 watch party. For at least the first series, LowQP will be here with me as we're going over his series, and then later on we'll have Slick Panther on when my team plays against his team. So, have some good commentary about those. Yeah, let me plug the stream real quick.
What's up, everybody?
What is going on? Here we go. If you want to catch these streams live, of course, my Discord is linked in the description. I also plug these in the small draft server. Bang. Alright. What's up, Giants? How are we doing today?
Well, let me actually link this in my server.
Yeah, you can link it wherever. But yeah, week 1. So, apparently sleep will have to wait. It's 2:30 a.m. Like, bro, you can go to sleep, man. It's fine. We're gonna start off with Ancient Tacticians versus which team is this?
Judgment Day.
Judgment Day, right? Yeah,
Yes.
two relatively strong teams, right? I think both of these are probably making playoffs, but who's to say? Alright, reading the title, I know I'm about to see a Slitherwing masterclass. I think there was a Slitherwing game this week, and he did some kind of crazy stuff. So there might be a little bit of truth to that. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes. I actually saw. I didn't see the full game, but I saw like the 2 or 3 turns where it was like, oh, what is this Slitherwing set?
Yeah. But okay, take a look at this matchup. It's going to be Sammy versus Nat. Nat, brand new to draft. I think this is her first draft game. Yeah?
Yep.
Is that true?
Yeah, so she is, I think has one of the best records in like the Smogon tours all time, the non-draft tours in SVOU. I think she's ranked number 1 in SVOU. I'm not exactly sure where I am because I know she's like in the top, and she's known for like her building and her creative takes on the game. So we thought she'd have a good transition to draft. Plus, she seemed like very motivated, and she was that week. So she actually built most of her team, and we just helped to guide her a little bit. She came with some cool ideas, and I hope that she'll just keep getting better. But we were quite impressed.
All right.
So,
so
how do you go about it? You want to talk about like the matchup first, or
maybe just a little bit because it's like the first game of the stream. Give people a little bit of time to get on.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like, also because it's week 1, we need to look over like some of the structures of these drafts. Like, how do these actually, like, how are they supposed to work? Like Nat's team, you do have like the spike stack plus regen, like triple regen. Like you can kind of just play the long game versus a lot of teams.
Yeah.
Use that hazard advantage, and like you have rapid spin. A lot of teams do not. This one does with the treads, but in theory you can do that versus a lot of teams. Even versus this one, like if you wanted to Terra Ghost your Torn or your Slowking, there is that option of just playing the hazard game. But yeah, Keldeo is a relatively big threat, especially with Terra Electric. You know, set up on the Torn, get that Terra Blast coverage into the Slowking. Also sets up on the Skarm, like kind of, and Vacuum Wave is really annoying for the speed control in this team. So there is that.
Nat has a Ogerpon on the bench, a Fire Ogerpon, but we thought the spin was like a bit hard to get with Cyclizar and the role we wanted it to have, so we didn't bring it. In retrospect, maybe it was good, but I think her build was fine. And I think Sammy had like Overquill and Cardink on the bench, so nothing on the bench, so nothing like too crazy. She wanted to Terra the Slowking to kind of like CM alongside the Keld and like Wall the Moon.
Yeah, very Slowking is like pretty interesting here because it gives you that like really solid Moon check, really solid Keldeo check as well, right? If you can match Calm Minds and hit it with Psyshocks, because this is definitely not going to be Terra Dark.
Yeah, so Sammy's challenge is always going to be like breaking through that team, which like is actually quite hard.
What will you do?
because he doesn't have like the greatest breaking tools outside of like for this specific team because it's super fat outside of like Ogre Pond,
Mhm.
and like Electric Calio.
We'll be doing DFL replays, probably only playoffs, Legendary Serp. Treads almost never slots steel moves here. Oh, what's up, Blitty Cord? Yeah. Spam the W's in chat. Alright.
Yeah, I agree. Probably not Steel Move, right?
Yeah, like
Just
versus
like-
Skarm teams, you would expect maybe like Earthquake Volt Switch, maybe Spin, and like you could put Ice Spinner on to like do some stuff versus
There was a
I don't
Lando.
know.
Oh, there was a Lando Eye on the bench as well. So probably.
Oh,
just-
Leno Eye, yeah, Ice Spinner for sure. What else? I mean, that's pretty much it I want to go over. Like Electric Keldeo, like Fire Torn's interesting, gives you like stab Heat Wave into the treads, and like the resistance of the Ogre Pawn.
Yeah, it gives it stab as well to
Mm-hmm.
hit the Terrakeld with, but it's not the best, but it does hit it better
Yeah.
than flying.
Fairy Crest is also like a decent option into stuff like the Urshifu, right? Flip that typing. I'm assuming this is dark, right? Dark Shifu?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Alright.
I think the water one is kind of dancing. The dark is more still.
You can't tell in preview. They're the same.
Oh, can you not?
Yeah. See how like here it says Urshifu like asterisk? Because the team preview is the
Okay.
same.
Okay.
Okay, Torn versus Crest Lead. So Crest Lead's interesting. Makes me think you probably just want to throw off some T-Waves into a team with no ground type. Maybe this was the dedicated like Lando check, and with no Lando, you're like, oh, I'll just T-Wave some stuff. But here, Taunt Tornadus able to prevent that sort of, and it is the Thunder Wave at lead. Now Bleak Windstorm from Life Orb Torn, okay. Very offensive. Not quite a 2-hit KO on the Crest, right? And the Crest will 2-hit KO after the Life Orb chip, so Torn probably has to U-turn out of there. Is going to U-turn out of there, and Crest is like so low already. It was Rocky Helmet, so Torn's low as well. But Rever Room can come in on the presumed Ice Beam, but a Thunderbolt Peril, like that's unlucky.
Yeah.
And now the taunt wears off, so Crest could heal here if it wants to. It probably will choose to do so. And there's that Moonlight as Urshifu takes the entry point. We know it's not Colberberry, so this is going to force either a Terra or a switch out here.
Yeah.
Now we're just going to stay in and take it. Fizdef Cresselia able to just live that because it's not choice banded. You even go for some Moonlights here, fishing for a full para. Are we going to get it? Not going to go for the last one, and yeah. Wisely done. Cresselia got a lot of work done. Para on Revervroom and some chip. Torn's relatively low. Urshifu parried and low HP. Like, that's about all you can ask for, really, from like a lead Crest. Now Iron Tread's going to come and use Booster Speed. Interesting. Booster Speed feels kind of homeless into this team. Like, sure, you get rocks up, but Skarm's always just going to wall you. And now trade rocks as Ogremon comes in, but this is Akka Skarmory. So even through the crit, Ivy only going to do 50%, and Brave Bird going to bring this very low in rocks range. So now a sack of the Urshifu. And now, let's see, Ogrepon's in rocks range, but a lot of progress is made. Cyclozar comes in, potentially a spin kill, is going to get the spin kill. Really nice. Knocks out the Ogrepon and gets rid of those rocks. Now, Iron Treads comes in, trying to set them back up, it looks like. But here's a U-turn into what? Into Revervroom? And the Ice Spinner. Okay. Maybe predicting the Torn mid-ground. But now Skarm comes in on the Stealth Arcs, and does Ice Spinner even kill this?
No, it doesn't.
Looks like no, so Skarm can just heal up on this thing as Keldeo takes the entry
Now
point.
here comes the danger. Yeah. Because if you think about it, your revenge killing to that Electric Calio is like non-existent. It has a CM up because Thorn is special and Cyclozar dies to Vac Wave, right? So you literally just have to match.
Yeah.
You,
the
this
comm
is the
lines are
only way
matched.
you're gonna beat it. Which is actually pretty like. It is somewhat reliable, right? But
Yeah, it's pretty solid. You
yeah,
can see
it's
like
sticking nothing.
+2 Surf and a +1 Slowking when you're doing 43, match the Calm Mine. And now you can even go for like a Psyshock here if you want to. And there is that Psyshock. Brings Gira very low in rocks range. I'm actually going to save our Slowking. I'm not really sure what exactly our Slowking was afraid of there on this
Probably
Gyarados.
T-Wave.
T-Wave? I guess, but like, if we're afraid of T-Wave, are we going Cyclozar? I guess like, could go
I
Skarm,
think you can
right?
get like
Skarm's
the
probably
slow,
better.
like, I think that's still fine because you can get the rapid spin off.
Yeah, maybe you
Or
get
like
like a
as a side
second
effect.
spin kill. Yeah, so it gets the second spin
Yeah,
kill.
because even if you're slow, you're gonna get the kill.
Yeah.
It should be like a
Now
slow.
treads once again
Yeah.
back in a U-turn into what probably Scarm. It's healthy. Takes the 13. God, treads is
Huh.
horrible into Scarm. There's a body press. It's gonna be a 2 kill, but Endeavor gonna bring the Scarm low at least. Here's a roost. And now it's like, do you want your Scarm to take this Endeavor? You do have like a paralyzed Rev Room, which you could just sack to the
Yeah.
Endeavor, which is what Nat's gonna do. I thought this was like pretty good because the Rev Room like loses to the other two, so
Yep.
may as well use it for that. Now Torn in, can Heatwave knock this out? But this does give setup opportunity for that Keldeo. I guess we go Roaring Moon. Because we're booster speed and we want to Fire Blast the Torn. Okay, sure. Is that Wyatt? What's up?
What's up,
Here,
Wyatt?
Iron Head into the Slow King, brings it low.
So now
Air
the Slow
Blast
King
knocks
just
out.
wins barring.
Yeah, we saw like Keldeo with like a 1 boost advantage only did 43 with Surf. So you can probably just slack off here as the Slow King. But instead we go for a Calm Mind, calling out the Keldeo is going to Calm Mind, which is like fair enough, but like feels needlessly risky. Like, would Surf have 2 KO'd there from 49?
No, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it doesn't.
I'm not 100% on that. It feels like it probably would have, but regardless, Nat gets the plays right, matches the Calm Minds. Yeah, 33 at neutral. You get the Calm Mind.
Yeah,
It's like really close, you know?
Yeah, she probably should have stopped
But
off.
goes for the Psyshock over the Slack off.
But it's fine. Yeah, she.
Yeah, and then a crit here is like game losing, right? Might have been a roll, right? See, 33.
I think it was a roll highly in our favor, but
probably, yeah.
yeah. In
Now you go like
probably heal, but
yeah.
I think 33 was actually a very high roll, right? Because if you think about it, no, never mind. Yeah, no, never mind. The math is, yeah. Yeah, I think it was a roll. I think Berna showed me the rolls, but yeah, it was definitely in our favor. And
yeah, but now like Vacuum Wave picks off Cyclozar and Scarm, no hope of beating this Terra Blast Keldeo. So a little unlucky at the end, right? I think Nat played pretty well overall, but sometimes Terra Keldeo just does that thing. Really good progress from Cress early game as well. I think that was like a big contributing factor. Like multiple paras, big chip on a bunch of guys.
Yeah, the T-Wave para was definitely unfortunate, but
yeah, on the Rev.
I'm
also wondering what was that Rev even doing into Cress? Right, it's fully physically defensive. You can just heal.
Thinking, I think maybe just Rashifu was better, taking advantage of like the low Cress, but
yeah,
maybe like she was scouting for Moonblast. Because okay, so the Shifu was Rocky Helmet Max.
Okay, that's a low QP set. Okay, tell me you didn't put that on that paste. Tell me you didn't. Yeah, I bet you can't. Alright, game 2 is going to be Haba versus Fogbound Lake. Haba not been doing so hot individually, but he has been winning tours. So like, in DPL, he won with the big dogs. Despite like losing a bunch of games, he went like 3-6 in that tour. But his team support was like enough to win. Whereas Fogbound Lake won the previous DWL with who was on that team?
Better Call Saul.
Yeah, Better Call Saul.
Haba,
so like
Haba was an Espada.
Yeah. But these are two like pretty recent draft team tour champions going head to head, so it should be a pretty good one. They're in the champions tier, which I think probably suits Haba's skill set a little bit more than SV, which he's been playing a lot of recently. So it should be an interesting one.
Flippy Whippy the perspective.
Yeah. Flippy Whippy. This is a Flippy Whippy team, right? You have U-turn, Volt Switch, U-turn, and Flip Turn. There is a Flippy Whippy.
Oh, true.
But on the other side, Garchomp's a big threat.
That matchup I think was really favored for Habada. Like if you look
look
at Fog's team, like it's like giga slow. Their only speed is Garchomp. And
yeah, that can't be real, right?
Yeah, they have so many like setup. Like Hub has just so many setup mods that can just take over the game. that are faster than everything that Fog had.
Mhm. Which is
I
less
guess
real,
Scrum is
champions
faster,
or VGC? Technically champions, because you can't actually do this in the game, but it's chill. So Infernape looks like a massive threat. Expect maybe like some kind of tech on Primarina, either Scarf or like Wakan or like Kibia, depending on what coverage you expect out of this Infernape. Maybe like a physically defensive G-King can hold it off for a little bit. Maybe a defensive Garchomp, something like that, but this Infernape needs to be dealt with somehow. Meowscarada as well. Probably going to see a special set, honestly, into Skarm and Fortress. So like Shadow Ball's unresisted. You could just use it as Spike Spot. Like, click Shadow Ball, then you're spin blocking. You can get spikes up. Something like that. Scizor is also kind of homeless. Maybe you could be Swords Dance and break through the Skarm. I'm not sure if Skarm lost counter in these like new gens, but maybe you can just match Iron Defense. There's no like Ghost type. So you can just kind of Iron Defense, Body Press, maybe bring Iron Head to deal with the guard, and then like Roost. Because it feels like Fori is the better hazard setter in this game, where like Garchomp and Skarm can just be like the Fizz Def guy. But okay, let's get into it.
Mega, right?
Oh, it's Mega, right. Oh, it's Mega Skarm.
Yeah,
I forgot about that. Yeah,
speed,
just Brave Bird.
because like you have like no speed and offense fast. It'll be like at least fast.
No, that's my bad. It's definitely Mega Skarm.
Mega Scar, Mega Scizor.
Yeah. I forgot there's Megas in this game. Okay, Meowscarada leads off into the G-King. So this could be Spikes, this could be Shadow Ball. It is just going to be a Shadow Ball Meow. Does 2-hit KO because this G-King is physically defensive. Goes for a Sludge Bomb, maybe expecting a knockoff there and with a Color Berry staying in. But no dice. Now Spikes go up and you see like we're spin blocking the Fortress right here. Dodges a T-Wave, huge deal for this Meowscarada. Now you get a +2 Shadow Ball into this Fortress, and it's basically dead. Like, you get the Citrus Berry, but you're at 58. You'll have to take Spikes coming in after, and actually the Meowscarada is still faster, just knocks it out. So Fortress is just straight up dead. Now Skarm comes in, is going to match a layer and take a massive Shadow Ball, 71% from this Meowscarada, and Brave Bird recoil. Like this, like both steals are basically dealt with. This is a huge deal for Scizor in particular.
Look at Rotom versus the rest of the team, right? Like Rotom, it really like checks defensively the rest of the team, and like you have pieces that are faster than Skarm. I think here you never go Rotom too.
Yeah, it feels like you could just go Infernape and Mach Punch. You could go Scizor and Bullet Punch. You could do all sorts of things, right?
You on everybody potentially, and you have Scarfs potentially. I think that was the one guy you didn't want to go out to was Rotom.
Because now Rotom has to take
like Scarf Brim, Scarf Eel, or because it can roost, and that's like kind of awkward.
Yeah, you do get a plot opportunity, but this Brave Bird's actually doing a whole lot of damage. Skarm is definitely not a weak Pokemon. And Rotom at 56 is not as scary as Rotom at 100. Now Garchomp can come in, force this out.
Plot Rotom at full versus this, it's like really hard, right?
Yeah. Bob does make a nice play, pivots Gardevoir on the forced outrage because nothing else would kill the Rotom. And now you're forcing out this Garchomp, I'm pretty sure. So you could use this as a double opportunity to get something in versus the G-King. Or just Shadow Ball, right? Predict the switch, either way. There's no Ghost Resist, so you can just kind of click it again. But instead we're going to double into our Infernape when the only, like, plays Fogbound has available is swap Primarina or sack G-King. So that feels like a really strange Infernape turn.
Yeah, I think he wanted to set the rocks up to damage the EO to get it into +2 Scizor range.
If we wanted to do that, we should have doubled on the G-King coming in rather than predicting with Shadow Ball. Not this turn. Because now Primarina comes in to like save the sack.
This is casual, right? But here the problem is like you'll see like he doesn't even set up the rocks, he puts it in Thunder Punch range. And now it's his Scarf Prim in Torrent range. And now it's
yeah, that's scary. We actually go down with the Infernape.
Now, like, see, the game was like super Hub's advantage, and like it's kind of like going a bit.
Yeah,
down,
Fog's fighting back. Big Surf Chip on the SD Samurott. We're just addicted to setting up and taking 50.
Yeah, and here instead of now here he clicks Jet.
Yeah, it goes for a Jet. Fogbound completely outplays going Garchomp, avoiding the 2-hit KO and taking the KO. And now Haba's like down 4-3. Rotom can come in. Eat the J Ricky, but Outrage just fucking kills. Like,
Yeah.
That's great.
But at least you get the scissor setup, right? And if
You do,
look
yeah.
at it, plus 2 bug bite, plus bullet punch, that kind of smokes the team.
Yeah.
But Eel might be fizz def, it might be fast, it might be scarf, right? You don't know. And
Mm-hmm. Your bullet
I
punch
think
picks
it's
this
just
off,
human pieces for no reason.
and Eel comes in, is faster with flamethrower and knocks out the scissor, and the Gardevoir versus G-King in the back, not really a chance you can win this as the Gardevoir. Goes for Moonblast, potentially a lock-in. This could be Scarf, we don't know yet, but it is Scarf Gardevoir, and G-King just knocks it out with a Sludge Bomb, and that's going to be Fogbound taking that one. That's what, 2-0 is that for Judgment Day?
It's 2-0 for Judgment, yeah.
Yeah, now we have Rob Jr. versus Violet River. Remind me which one's on which team?
Rob's on Tacticians, Violet's on Judgment.
Okay. Alright. We do see a Gorgeist, which is somewhat rare in Swish. We've seen it like last DPL, like once or twice. But before that, it's like really an unseen tech. Here you have the Gorgeist versus Zeraora, Celesteela, Zygarde. Like, about as good of a Gorgeist matchup as you can ask for. Also can potentially spin block versus Starmie depending on investment. So, like, really good Gorgeist matchup. You can kind of just wisp the whole team and just synthesis, do whatever. This is Rapid Strike because Single Strike is banned in the Swish, so we know that one on Team Preview. But it's into like G-King, Starmie. Probably not the biggest threat, but you can use it as a U-turn. U-turn guy. Maybe U-turn on the G-King. Maybe be pads to avoid helmet. And like the Iron Barbs from Pharaoh. Stuff like that. It does look like just kind of a big offense team with a Gorgeist on there. Whereas Rob, very much like a fat style. Kind of like reminds me of that Glop build with the Misto Beam spam. You have the Steela, Pharaoh, Zygarde. Really good stuff.
Yeah, the Steela Zygarde is very impressive defensively together.
Yeah.
Funny enough, they're two like fat leech cheaters, but they really take pressure off one another. Like especially like because Celesteela wants to be able to run offensive sets, right? So if you want to have the leech cheat pressure, you still have it with Pharaoh and like the helmet sets. Also, like Steela is not a good helmet mon because it really wants the healing if it from leftovers if it's defensive. So I think this is just a really nice pairing.
Yeah, I think this kind of style of team is something that's not going to go away anytime soon. But here we go into the game. G-King lead into Azelf, so this should just be free rocks out of the Azelf as we actually clicked knockoff into a Colbert G-King. Okay, burns that. I guess we can just rock the next turn is the theory behind that. We knock again. What? Are we not rocks? There's the rocks finally, as Rob like goes Pharaoh for some reason to like then scout the flamethrower.
Yeah, or maybe he wanted to get shit damage on U-turn. I don't know.
I don't think a U-turn was coming though. Like, okay, either way,
yeah,
rocks up.
He probably just like sludge again if Azelf. If you don't get a sludge poison, you go Pharaoh, get the Rocky helmet chip.
Maybe Here's Scizor comes in and goes for a U-turn and baits the flamethrower into Heatran. Pretty cute play there. And now the Heatran can go for like I would say a Wisp into this team maybe, but instead clicks Dark Pulse into predicted Starmie. Not the case as Zygarde comes in. But Zygarde is leftovers. It looks to be Spadef as well. I'm gonna go for 1,000 Arrows into the Gorgeist switch in. It makes me think this Zygarde is probably Substitute, looking at this matchup. It's Toxic, but doesn't click Substitute in front of the Gorgeist, so the Leech Seed will go through. Could Toxic again and give up a little bit of HP, but instead gonna go into Ferrothorn, which does wall Gorgeist and can get hazards up.
Pharaoh is a cool player, right? Because you can kind of catch the Scizor, and you don't want to let your Zygarde get whittled down too much. And
oh, Theo's saying he went Pharaoh to scout Explosion. That's definitely fair.
That's good as well, yeah.
Yeah. Now Pharaoh can get up a hazard, but Fire Blast Gorgeist gets huge chip on the Ferrothorn. So rocks are up, but Ferrothorn's basically dead. Can save it for like some sack here, as Zygarde can take this Fire Blast no problem. Yeah, 4%. Like lol. Now
It's
another
huge.
opportunity to go for a Toxic this time does connect as the Leech Seed is traded. And now it feels like Leech Seed, Power Whip, Fire Blast. Can this even like touch G-King?
Yeah,
Because
you
this
can
G-King
probably
doesn't
go
have an
G-King,
item.
right?
It's if it's Shadow Sneak, it's not going to kill, and if it's Poltergeist,
Yep.
it's walled. So you can just go G-King. Yeah, Rob does do exactly that play on the Power Whip, and you can probably just heal here as Heatran
we
comes
got
in. Oh, we
Actually, don't
double
want to get
into
into
Zygarde. Okay, one step ahead. Gets the Zygarde on the field into
Yeah.
Heatran, and now the Gourgeist is Toxic. If this is sub, this is basically going to get a kill here. Although if it was sub, it probably would have clicked it earlier, I want to say.
Yeah, it's not sub.
Yeah. So, Arrow's Toxic. What other moves do you need? Rest Talk? Is that what
Yes.
this is?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Here's another Leech Seed into G-King this time. Could double out again. Yeah, back into the Zygarde. As Gourgeist is going to be racking up Toxic Chip. That Power Whip is doing a lot. Is going to force a rest here. There is that rest though, and Zygarde able to stay healthy. This is why I wasn't really fearing Will-O-Wisp earlier, I think. So you can just rest off. And probably G-King here. Violet, he actually stays in. Violet's going to go Scizor on this. Potentially get a Swords Dance opportunity because this Zygarde has revealed hard walled by Scizor. Cannot break it at all. So a Swords Dance is probably coming on the Pharaoh Sack. It's not. It's a
And now
U-turn.
It's not so fast. This is
Yeah.
making U-turn into the sleeping Zygarde.
So could be like a choice to Scizor or just defensive Scizor or something like that. I don't really know. But here, Steela, Lando, U-turn, Heatran.
See, like here, I was looking at this game and just like, they're both like just like spamming pivot. Like Violet's going like very like pivot heavy strategy, right? With like she's like keeps spamming like U-turn, but like Rob really likes that, right? Because like he's got
Yeah.
leftovers, got rest stock, and like Violet doesn't have healing. So in the end, if the game keeps going that way, Rob's just gonna win.
Yeah, we're trying to like force a long game with like Hazard Chip versus a team with a regen like stat monsters. You know?
Leftovers, rest stock, Zygarde,
Yeah.
like, you're not getting anything.
Yeah. It's like a losing
actually
battle. Here, Magma Storm is potentially going to be some progress here. But with Leech Seed, you can't just go Starmie, I think. And so a double to Scizor, actually just go Zygarde. Yeah, that's much safer.
Yeah,
But
I think
Scizor
Rob
covers
just
both.
wants-
Now it can just go for a U-turn as G-King takes that one. Not willing to go Steela there. Maybe wants to avoid knocking off the leftovers, but G-King doesn't cover that either. So a little bit of progress made from Violet River. Another U-turn, another Heatran. But Heatran doesn't have leftovers, so this chip is permanent. And you can just go back to Zygarde. Like, Violet River has to keep doubling on rocks. And here's a substitute on Heatran. It feels like it doesn't accomplish anything. You can just Sleep Talk. Doesn't pull anything useful, but Flash Cannon is only doing 28, so
Yeah,
it's
this
really
Zygarde
not the
is
end of the
so
world.
chunky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Arrows to break the sub. Probably you can just arrows again. Like, this Zygarde will get lefties. It's going to be out of range of a lot of things that it wants to switch into. Yeah, it just goes for the arrows. Eventually knocks out the Gourgeist. Yeah, no leftovers, so down it goes to the Toxic. Now Urshifu Rapid comes in. Finally, after 30 turns, this guy hits the field.
This is like the only thing that could potentially win
Mhm.
the game for Violet at this point.
So G-King is going to get sacked off, not willing to go Starmie on a potential U-turn. Now going to get the Starmie in. Potentially could spin here. The Rocker's dead. And you're forcing this out. There is the Rapid Spin into the Scizor. Really nice now because... Oh, that's Life Orb Starmie. Interesting. So you can just stay in and surf. Yeah, the Scizor's dead.
Yeah, Starmie kind of...
Nice.
Starmie
Yeah.
kind of just fries.
Now Urshifu comes in. Probably going to be Choice Scarf then? No, it's Endure. So Endure Custap or Salic. It's going to be Custap, okay? And we're going to sack the Starmie? Sure. I mean, just simplify here. Zeraora can just knock off. Landorus forced to come in. But knock off is good progress here. Removes the Choice Scarf, and now you can just go into Steela or Zygarde. Either one is fine. Zygarde, I guess you're just sacking it off? No, so you have to go Steal anyways. Okay, catches the Earthquake. Doesn't want to go for a second knock here, even though it would kill. Does Steal just win? Okay, Tran's not quite in Rock's range, but it's close enough.
Yeah, you just force one more switch and it wins.
So this is completely locked up by Rob. Magma Storm does finally break through the Zygarde, but you have Zeraora with a pin here. Not really a pin, but like you force it out, so it's dead to hazards or it's just dead. And now like Steel just has to deal with the Lando. It doesn't matter. This was 100% won by the Celesteela in the back. And so Rob Jr. with a really nice performance versus Violet River in week 1. So that's what, 2-1 now. Still in favor of Judgment Day, but Asian Tacticians are on the board.
Oh my god, that game, we
Alright, so this is going to be Manu versus My Java. My Java on Tacticians, Ultraviolet on Judgment Day.
Yeah, so I helped Java prep a lot for that game, and we might make changes on mids, so I can actually talk about the team a little bit. But they had webs. I think what they bench? They bench Fezendipity and Gliscor, yeah. But with the webs, like, it was really hard for like Espathra and like Ogerpon, which like I think were like our 2 best mons in a matchup to
100%, yeah.
Do anything, because they don't want to, obviously Ogerpon can't run boots, and Espathra doesn't like to run boots.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was gonna be hard, right? So we kind of made some like, I think we had like an early break. We had like an early breaking Okidogi with Focus Sash, but we changed the item like right before the game.
Okay, so brand new, never before foreseen tech.
Yeah, and well, you'll see.
Okay,
and,
interesting.
The rest was like Life Orb Espathra plus Max
Orb.
was there for Ogerpon, and then boots on the dragons, because like you had to circumvent like the webs, those like helmets.
Yeah, I did like Terrasteel Espathra in this matchup. I did mock Manu in this one, and I also brought Terrasteel on the Espathra, but mine was like physically defensive, with like Feather Dance and stuff. So more so like setting up multiple combines angle. But here you could just like Luma Crash, Terra Blast, kind of hits the whole team besides the Iron Crown.
Yeah, and we had like our win con was like the Trailblaze Ogerpon.
Yeah, I also had that.
It was like Fizz Death Trailblaze. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So yeah.
The Ogerpon mirror is always interesting, right? Because you don't want to be the one who terras and dies to the non-terra one, or like you lose a speed tie, and it is just really awkward, right?
Yeah, but at the same time, without Terra, like Manu's Ogerpon can't really break the Skarm, for example. So there is that kind of dynamic to it as well. End of the game. Trap Ghost leads off into the Okidoki. Can't just be a Terra Starstorm here. There's no Ghost type on the other side. Ice Punch comes out to break the shell, potentially get a cheeky freeze. It gets the poison. And we take 100%. Because this is choice specs Terrapagos.
We just removed the sash.
That is unfortunate, right?
I'm pretty sure we didn't have. Yeah, we moved the sash and knockoff. Yeah, we had knockoff. So either one would have.
Either one. Yeah. That's tough.
But that was unfortunate.
Now Espathra can come in, potentially go for a Lumina Crash or a Weak Protect.
Yeah, you had to make an aggressive
tough.
play at this point. And then now you basically lose like all your breaking, right? Because like Moon.
And now our Espathra is dead. Okay. We could just go Iron Crown and like use the Life Orb to finish it off. Like, this is going really horrible for my Java.
Yeah, that was a horrible early game. And that game is like
it could not be worse.
Yeah, you can't like.
And here a Trailblaze to like set up a little bit. Synthesis on potentially a Volt Switch. No, it's a Psychic Noise, which is gonna get some chip that sticks. And now a Volt Switch potentially, keep it low. Yeah, Volt Switch into what? The other Ogerpon, because this reveals like bulky spread. So it's not going to kill the opposing Ogerpon. And now you can go for a Trailblaze of your own. And now the opposing Ogerpon, which we revealed was slower than Crown, probably slower than your Ogerpon, can just force it out with a whip. So really well played from Manu there, that sequence. And my Java's timer is so low. Iron Crown can just Psy Noise here. A nice play into the Roaring Moon. Gonna finally get some progress here. As Araquanid is that even a sack? Because we click Earthquake. Okay, it is a sack still. Knockoff will get the job done. Whew. But now Weavile's in, and Weavile can just kind of go for a knockoff here as we force out the Roaring Moon, get rid of the helmet. Yeah.
You know it's banded, so now Triple Axel just.
Now Triple Axel is just gonna Axel Max.
The classic Axel.
And Crown can just Volt Switch into this Weavile, and like, what are you even supposed to do about this? Skarm has to like avoid 6 hits. Does avoid 6 hits immediately. But actually, Weavile with the aggressive stay in here calls the Stealth Rock. Is he right? The rocks go up, and now Skarmory's in range of the next triple axel. We go for 1, 2. Oh, not 2. So the roost does get off, getting a little bit unlucky with these axles. But can just go into Terrapagos here on the body press. Does a lot of damage, but you do get another massive Specs hit off. As Roaring Moon's going to pivot in, trying to catch like a flamethrower, but catches a spin instead. So rocks removed, and now we can just go into our Revile again, and like, again, my Java just has to hope for a miss. He's gotten it twice so far. Can he get it a third time? That's 3 hits. Can we go? Here's 1, 2, and the Skarm does go down on the, 5th triple axle attempt. Now rocks are down. Ogerpon has to Terra here to resist the axle and heal up. Driftblim is going to come in, potentially go for a Wisp here. Does go for a Wisp, catch the Cyclozar on the switch, and it can just kind of Strength Sap here. Even if a Draco comes out, that's a critical hit, doesn't kill. But the J Ricky plus Strength Sap, this Driftblim is going to go almost back up to full. And now without the J Ricky, is able to go for a boosted Acrobatics. Dragon Tail does not connect, which is really obnoxious now, because this thing now still has the Unburden, can knock out the Cyclozar, threaten a Wisp on either 2 of these Pokemon. It's looking over. Yeah, gets the Wisp off on the Roaring Moon. Knockoff probably doesn't even kill here. But the Roar, okay, that's interesting. Roar is like probably trying to deal with like setup Crown or like setup to Wrap, because Moon is bulky enough to live either one. But yeah, now it can just go for a knockoff, I guess. Doesn't want to miss, or like doesn't want to axle into the Ogerpon switch in and be physically defensive. That's what we're kind of like predicting there.
At this point, unless like Manu gets super hacks, like the only way for Java to lose is for this Ogerpon to crit everything.
Yeah, goes into the Driplim. Goes for Trailblaze though. Trying to cover like the opposing Ogerpon coming in, but instead the Driplim gets the Wisp off, and that should be game. 2 burned Pokemon, like we're just cooked.
Yeah, like losing your 2 breakers early, like you had no progress. You didn't have like your progress makers. It was just really hard for Java to get anything going. So I think it was a bad call on our part to just remove the sash. We should have been more thorough.
Yeah, probably, but like didn't have time, right? This is last minute on Sunday, so maybe could have worked on that a bit sooner. I could say.
Yeah, I was a bit hungover as well. So.
Yeah. All right, and now we have our first champions like in-game thing. We get these dimensions like close enough. Here we go. So this is going to be Kyle versus Trace, and they actually played in-game, and my face cam is hiding an Incin here. But okay, this is interesting. This is something that they're allowing in DCL. You can play on cartridge for VGC games. So let's take a look at it. We have Raichu, Annihilate. We have Tailwind plus like probably Raichu like Mega Y. Clawitzer, which can like heal
Mega
pulse.
Raichu and Mega Chomp, and Trace has Mega Frostlass, which is on the bench, plus Mega Furt. I could actually
so Rain versus like heavy like Annihilate mode, like Tailwind Annihilate with beat up, another beat up with Mouse Hold. You have like potentially Scarf Heal Pulse with Clawitzer, which I think is just like a really strong set in general.
Yeah. I think the other things that obviously you have like the Follow Me text.
He's playing in game performative, probably.
But the main thing about this matchup is the weather, right? So Trace needs rain, right? Trace is the main thing on this track.
But Sunny Day Whimsicott, right?
Sunny Day Whimsicott plus there's no Vanillux. Oh well, all right. But they had a Vanillux as well, right? So it's really hard to keep the rain up. And your other mode is like Trick Room, because their team's pretty fast. You can Trick Room. The problem is under Trick Room, Clawitzer is slower, and I assume that's what they brought. Because Trick Room Clawitzer is looking mighty dangerous.
Speaking of dangerous, this Vivillon, if there's no Raichu, it is kind of annoying, right? With Hurricanes and like Sleep Powders, like it seems like a really big pain in the ass. Okay, they've chosen their leads for game 1. Let's see. Probably gonna see a rain mode, but maybe he wants to scout out a little bit first, and it's gonna be Incin plus Weirdeer. Maybe going for like a Trick Room mode with like offensive Politoed. I could see that maybe.
Well, by the way, notice there's no Intimidate.
No Intimidate
Both
on
aren't
either of
great.
them. Yeah. We're really scared of that Defiant on Annihilate. Which this team is so heavily like geared into Annihilate, it makes sense. That is going to mean like the Garchomp doesn't have to deal with Intimidate at all in this game. So Kyle does know that for future rounds. Let's see. You could see a fake out on either side. Both sides with fake out pressure. There's a switch into Clawitzer, maybe trying to get ahead of the Trick Room mode. As Waichu just goes for the Mega and could potentially fake out the Incin here. It's going to be Protect on Weirder. Interesting. I didn't think Weirder was that threatened this turn. And there is that fake out on the Incin, preventing the opposing fake out, I suppose. So, re-switch into Clawitzer, and now you're threatening big damage on the Incin. You could even like double up into the Weirder. It did just Protect. And this Incin is not really threatening an Oko on either Pokemon. I assume you would EV for Flare Blitz on your Waichu. There's no like fast threat on the other side. I'd really like to see a Zap Cannon and maybe a Dark Pulse or a Water Pulse into the Weirdeer, but instead we're going to Zap Cannon the Incin. Our Clawitzer is going to take a big Psychic from Weirdeer, goes down to 67%, and a Water Pulse, a 2-hit KO into the Incin. Maybe playing around a Pasho Berry with the double up.
See, the Weirdeer is not clicking Trick Room, right?
Yeah.
Because Trace really wants to click Trick Room, but he can't just because like the Clawitzer is slower.
Yeah, that's true. Now Decidueye comes in, so no Rain Mode in the back, most likely. Or at least no Swampert. And this just feels cooked, right? You could just Dark Pulse the Weirdeer and like Zap Cannon the Decidueye. You're gonna get big chip either way. Or you could even double the Decidueye maybe. Like maybe there's like Protect mind games here. Like it, but even then, like feels really advantage for Kyle. Is there a move Raichu gets that would threaten the Decidueye with an Oko? And there's a lot of weaknesses on that guy. Like a Psychic, maybe?
Or Luring Voice.
Oh, Luring Voice, sure. So here's a Protect on Decidueye, maybe trying to set up a Trick Room mode. Zap Cannon is going to go into Decidueye, is going to get protected. So this makes sense to me if it's a double up into that guy, which, if it is, that Protect is going to be big. And there is the Ice Beam, so it was a double up. So now the Clawitzer is kind of in range of both and slower than both, so it's a little bit homeless, but it will draw at least one attack. So the Raichu is going to live another turn here, unless it's a double up and you allow the Clawitzer to attack. So it does feel like you can just get off another Zap Cannon into either slot, honestly. I might want to say... Decidueye probably feels like the Sash user on this team, if not Vivillon. Protect Raichu, that's really strange to me. What is that for? Suckers to knock out the Clawitzer, I guess. It's Life Orb. Okay, good information to know. It allows the Trick Room for free. I really don't like that Protect at all. I feel like that turn your Raichu was like allowed to attack. But now Trick Room's up, your Clawitzer's dead. This is like really favored for Trace now, all of a sudden. What can you even go to? Like everything is kind of threatened by these two Pokemon. Whimsicott comes in, potentially can go for an Encore on the Trick Room setter, which is fair enough. Could see Mental Herb on it though. Like into the Whimsicott matchup, Mental Herb feels like a shoo-in. I really want to say you can just double the Raichu slot. Like it just protected. Whimsicott's not exactly threatening anything, as long as you do have that Mental Herb, which I think you do. Or maybe just because you're Life Orb, you can CC and knock out the Raichu in one hit. And there's no CC resist besides the Annihilate. So you can Psychic that slot. If Annihilate comes in, Psychic goes into it. And if, it just dies... Oh wait, no, you're slower than the Decidueye, so it doesn't work like that. Okay. But no Encore, we see. Brave Bird into the Whimsicott. This should just bring it to Sash. There's no Sash. Why is there no Sash? Okay, good information to have, I suppose. No
I think it was very bulky.
Sure.
But Yeah, it still doesn't
Like,
take a life of Brave Bird.
yeah. So we just take no KOs. It's J Ricky, so I'm just wrong on all of these sets. But I feel like I should be right, you know? Like, this feels weird to me. Okay. But not fearing the Encore at all is crazy.
Yeah, at this point, like, the game's kind of over, right? Like, this is why.
Yeah, you should have 2 more Trick Room turns, maybe even 3, right? That was the first attacking turn. Yeah, 3 more turns of Trick Room. You can't exactly stall this out. Maybe you can get a full para on this Weird Ear, but it does feel pretty over at this point.
Yeah. I mean, this is why I can kind of just kill everything, right? Like the
Yeah.
hate with Brave and the Raichu with This
Here's
Brave
your
Bird is
Brave
so
Bird.
strong.
It is. Does it kill?
I like it. Yes.
Damn. That's a strong ass mon. Yeah, now
Bye repeat.
Raichu versus the world. The world should be victorious. Yeah, it should just finish it off with a Psychic or a Close Combat. I guess Psychic won't kill, but Close Combat definitely will. I suppose it's like technically better to Brave Bird, not reveal information, right? Here's a full para. The triple arrows, okay. Right, that move exists and is broken. I forgot about that. I'm saying CC, like, it's a little stronger, which is, yeah, but the flinch chance, the defense drop, you know, just a better move in general, triple arrows. That's going to be 1-0 up for Trace as we go into game 2, but a lot of important information was revealed. There's no Intimidate on the field at all, so Garchomp is a very real threat. Garchomp also able to live that Decidueye hit, so could be useful into the Trick Room mode. Also could be useful into the Rain mode as well. Will the Swampert be carrying Ice Move? Maybe, but it could very well be Yachi on the Garchomp as well.
Yeah, probably versus a Whimsicott, right?
Yeah, true. Whimsicott Garchomp.
Yeah, it wasn't a very good Garchomp matchup.
Hmm.
A lot of the mocks we did, Garchomp was benched.
Sure, but like, you reveal no Intimidates at all, like Garchomp's value just goes up immensely.
Mm-hmm.
So your game 2, what can we do to adapt as Kyle? I mean, we just lost to the Trick Room mode, but it feels like we got like pretty hard outplayed in that Trick Room. You could just say, I'll do the same plan, and if the Trick Room comes, I'll just outplay it. Because it felt like you had the tools to win, just didn't click the right buttons. Whereas Trace, maybe that was the game 1 strategy, and now we go into the Rain mode. That's something a lot of, you know, quality VGC draft players will do. They'll have 2 modes and completely switch it up game 2, even if they won game 1. So that is something to watch out for. Because it does feel like the Rain could be pretty strong here if the Whimsicott is not Sunny Day lead. But we'll see. It does feel like Incin lead is pretty safe. I'm not really too sure, though. It does feel like Kyle has good tools. What else could you even do here?
If you can have your Clawitzer healthy under the Trick Room,
Yeah.
let's say have like Clawitzer in the back from where Trace set up Trick Room, it's really hard for Trace to do anything.
Yeah, the Claw did
So
kind of
Kyle,
attack into a Protect.
Clawitzer's coming back, right? Because you lost it.
Yeah.
Anti-Trick Room tool.
And Claw's also good into Rain, so it's good either way.
Yeah.
All right, game 2. Let's see it. Vivillon lead trust. You are right. Vivillon is going to be the lead with Incin. So Fake Out Pressure plus Sleep Powder. You could easily just fake out the Whimsicott and Sleep Powder the Clawitzer. That feels like a pretty strong play at lead. Not really a whole lot that Kyle can do about it either, besides like have Protect on Clawitzer, which, let's see, it was Water Pulse, Ice Beam, probably is Heal Pulse on this team, so it could fit Protect.
Could have Aura Sphere for Archaladon that's on the bench as well.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense as well. So maybe this thing cannot afford Protect unless it's missing Heal Pulse, which would be strange to me, because that move is broken.
I would see it missing Heal Pulse, right? Because the way they're using it is... So I think you have enough Ape support, and like the way they're using the Claw is like very anti-Trick-Roomy.
Here, Garchomp is going to come in on the predicted Fake Out, and it does have Protect. Okay, so no Heal Pulse.
Yeah.
And there's a Sleep Powder into that slot, but no Fake Out. Probably just going to be a Parting Shot then. Oh, Flare Blitz. Okay,
Bad.
sure. The Garchomp comes in for free. And now we're threatening a Rock Slide on the Vivillon. But this is probably Sash, right? If the Decidueye isn't Sash, then Vivillon is definitely Sash. But still, Rock Slide, a good move to click. I almost want to say, like, Vivillon can pivot to Whimsicott here. Feels like a pretty safe switch and opportunity.
Whimsicott? Whimsicott's on the other team.
No, Claw can switch to Whimsicott. Did I say something wrong?
Yeah, you did. You said Vivillon.
Okay.
To Whimsicott.
I meant, like, switch into the Vivillon, like, Sleep Powder. Now,
I'm listening to VGC again.
Yeah, VGC. This is Kyle versus Trace. So, like, Sleep Powder pressure is important. You definitely don't want your Claw to fall asleep here. And Instin's going to switch out here into Teresa the Sociable. So it is the Rain mode, like I was saying before. So no Trick Room. There's a Sleep Powder, but into Garchomp. This could be Lum.
No,
I see a
Mega.
Lumberry. Oh, it's Mega? Okay. Sure. But the Ice Beam, so either way, the Vivillon is going to get down to... There's no Sash! What the fuck? Can we use the broken item? Like, bro.
It was Scarf. It outsped the Chomp.
Scarf, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, the Rain mode is in. There's no threat of Sunny Day at the moment. Garchomp is asleep, but it feels like this Clawitzer might not even die to a double up, depending on the bulk. So it can get off a really powerful Water Pulse into the Swampert slot. Potentially give time for your Garchomp to wake up, or you could pivot into your Whimsicott in the right slot, maybe. But an Ice Punch coming does feel like Cinderace on Mew Theory a little bit. I feel like the Garchomp just has to stay in. Let's see. Here's that Mega. Potentially an Ice Beam into the Chomp. But then that is going to be a pretty powerful attack coming from the Clawitzer. Can't cover for both slots here, basically. There's the guaranteed sleep turn. Hold on. So the Garchomp clicked Protect while it was asleep, because it went before the Swampert, right? Surely? Hypnosis, you dirty dog. It's going to miss, and this Water Pulse is going to do massive damage to this Swampert.
Yeah, that was a huge miss.
Yeah. And now what? We can go Whimsicott, potentially threaten a Sunny Day.
Yeah.
Or even like a
The thing is that-
Tailwind, I suppose.
Yeah, at this point, like with the low Swampert, like if you get the damage on Swampert, they can't really kill the Clawitzer.
Yeah. Claw just feels like in a super power position, like Incense in the back.
Yeah.
Like,
It just seems like the best Claw like performance
Yeah.
ever.
here I almost want to say you can encore the Swampert into Ice Punch and then just like target down the Poly slot with your Clawitzer, maybe. Is that crazy? That might be crazy. It's like Sunny Day weakens your own Claw, but it also becomes unkillable, so like pros and cons, right? Maybe you can say like your Aura Sphere is good enough in this endgame for damage-wise, so you can go for the Sun here. Yeah, I think that's what I would do. Like Sunny Day and just click Aura Sphere with my Claw over and over again. There's a Helping Hand, so what, Helping Hand high horsepower maybe? Into the Claw, that's like the most damage available. Goes for a Tailwind, so no Sunny Day. There's an Ice Punch, okay. That doesn't even
And that's
kill?
not even
That's
bad.
insane.
That's why the Whims isn't Sash. It's
Yeah,
fast
yeah.
mode.
I can understand that. We
Yeah, now
Ice
the
Beam,
book.
okay. Ice Beam feels
Yeah.
wrong over Aura Sphere. It's just weaker into every single Pokemon, but sure. Now Instant comes in, and with the Tailwind up, now the Claw should be faster than both of these Pokemon. Just Water Pulse the Instant feels pretty safe. Whimsicott could just like get sacked here to fake out, it doesn't matter. Protect on the fake out into Claw maybe. You can just play it safe here. That is going to be a fake out into Claw. Fake Tears, okay. Dropping the Politoed Spadef before the Whimsicott goes down does feel like it's just setting up the Claw to win. Like, more guaranteed. It actually misses the muddy water. You move camera during VGC, it's covering right HP bars. My bad. Yeah, I can do that. Didn't realize. Alright, so this is going to be 1-1 as we go into game 3. So the rain mode didn't work, but it looked promising. And the trick room mode did work, but maybe it was mostly based on surprise factor, felt like.
Yeah, the problem is like the two modes just like gets taken advantage of by Kowitzer, right?
Yeah, Clouditzer is just
Kowitzer
Thanos.
doesn't die to lane, and it like it's slower, right? So it outspeeds on the trick room. Like you trick room mods are
You're too fast.
yeah, I guess it's like Decidueye, Instant, and like maybe Swampert. I guess
Maybe.
you're slow. Yeah, the whole team is kind of slow, but
Yeah.
it's out of Vivillon.
Maybe you just go like rain mode plus Decidueye, like cover for the claw. Come back to Clawitzer is just Thanos' highest IQ stream on this channel yet. Hey, he is. Isn't he like 2 points as well? Like, why is this guy 2 points? I don't get it. This guy's actually good, I promise. I feel like, yeah, a good adaptation would be Decidueye over the Vivillon. And just go, maybe even like Politoed Ensign lead, or like Swampert Ensign lead. Yeah, force the rain mode. Have Kyle try to position his Clawitzer on the field, and then you can just like get your Decidueye in, and then you have really big offensive potential, right? Because like Swampert next to Decidueye with rain up is like the god position. If you can get that, I think you'll just instantly win the game, right? And we're going Trick Room. Okay, my bad. So this is going to be what? We are Scarf Vivillon, right? So you could sleep the Raichu, but Fake Out could come, right? It does feel like a Fake Out into Vivillon, and you just attack the Weirdeer. Or you can even double the Vivillon if you know that it's Scarf. Maybe it was revealed by the speed orders in Game 2, right? I feel like this is a really tough spot for Trace. You can get the Trick Room up, but it's going to cost you a lot of HP, and also, you can just Fake Out that Weirder if you really want to. But I feel like avoiding the Sleep Powder is probably more important. There's a Fake Out into, yeah, the Vivillon. There's a flinch, and we Ice Beam, just knock out the Vivillon in exchange for potentially Trick Room going up, but that's a good thing for Claw, like low-key.
Yeah, it's not like there's just like no good position for Trace here.
Yeah.
Like Raichu Claw is just so good against everything but her lead.
So the Trick Room does go up, and so you have to imagine Decidueye is coming in. But this Claw Ice Beam is going to be so threatening. And again, this Raichu... Oh, it's Swampert. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a...
So this Weirder... Does it get telepathy, right? So you can Earthquake?
Frisk. This one is Frisk.
It's Frisk. Okay. Should have recognized that. It's like on the screen. Thinking of too many things at once, I suppose.
Yeah, doubles is like super like overwhelming.
Especially like spectating, because I don't know any of the sets. At least when I'm playing, I know my sets, right?
Yeah.
There it's a little bit harder. Right. But still, could be seeing like a high horsepower into the Raichu. Nothing really threatens an Oko this turn. Whimsicott gonna come in on that expected high horsepower, I want to say. And we saw like a Helping Hand boosted Ice Punch didn't kill this Whimsicott, so it's probably like max Fizdef. And a Protect on Clawitzer. Okay, sure, I can get behind that. Protect Swampert feels weird. Like, why did we do that? a whole lot of nothing, but now we're threatening Encore on the Swampert if we want to. Although, we don't really even need to. Like, it feels like the Whimsicott can just, like, fake tears the Swampert slot, and Water Pulse is just a kill, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this feels really over for Trace. Yeah, here's that fake tears. Drops the Swadef of the Swampert, and you can just double that slot because it just protected. Yeah, that's just a dead Swampert. It's not a dead Swampert. How'd that do so little? That's a very bulky Swampert.
Well, that's Water Pulse was in rain, the one that did over.
It was,
50,
yeah.
But
that's
still just
that's -2. Like,
don't do enough damage. Yeah. Yeah.
Would have expected that to do
Cloudser.
more. Yeah, Cloudser lives the
He's
double
just-
up, but yeah. Can get off one more hit. Only a couple more Trick Room turns. I think 2 more turns at this point. Whimsicott also not really fearing a kill here, because you have to like attack the Cloudser. Here's a protect again on the Swampert. What are we protecting for? Like the Whimsicott energy ball or something? I suppose, yeah, that's fair enough. But a
And
parting
this is
gift.
looking bad. This is looking bad. That Dark
Yeah.
Pulse is the last one.
The protect just feels tough, right?
Yeah, maybe he was hoping for a choke, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay, Thanos is in, but this is the last turn of Trick Room. So
They also have big Tears Ice Beam.
I think you just get rid of the Swampert here because it's just protected with your Cloudser, and then the rest of your team can like 3v1 the Decidueye, right? Because Trick Room ends, and then your Raichu can like fake out into Zap Cannon, and like your Whimsicott probably has Moonblast if you haven't been clicking Grass Move into the other guy. Oh, like Sucker Punch, right? So you actually keep your Swampert for one more turn, but still like double the Swampert here. What I was saying. Tailwind, okay. Fair enough, yeah. I don't think we needed to do all that, but it's whatever. I should live that. Maybe this Whimsicott doesn't have an attacking move. Fake Tears, Tailwind. I don't know what the other 2 moves are, right? Is that all it's clicked?
Yeah.
And now Garchomp comes in. Garchomp should just wrap this one up, yeah. I'm assuming you still have to respect Moonblast, right? So you sucker the Whimsicott? I don't know. It's just cooked, I think. Surely there's like nothing Trace can do in this one. Protect Decidueye. So like... Yeah, it does have Moonblast. But Garchomp should be attacking the Swampert here. And it's Earth Power. Special Chomp takes advantage of the Fake Tears drop. Down it goes. Yeah, this is completely over. So, Kyle defeats Trace in the Game 3. Yeah, good adaptations, getting a lot more use out of the Clawitzer. Yeah, now you just Fake Tears and especially even Draco here. Breaking Swipe, okay, sure.
Oh, it's pretty bulky.
It is, yeah. Hold on, no rough skin? Did I see that right? You dirty dog.
It's tough.
Yeah, it's gonna be a game. Well played to Kyle as we go on to the next game.
Yeah. That was a tough one.
Yeah, it was tough. Alright, I can move my cam back down here. And, hey, speak of the devil. Low QP versus Mind Gaming.
Yeah. Yeah, that was not a fun matchup. The non-Terra Torn, Terra Apple was definitely really extremely hard to prep for. I have a Landorus. So his team is like super bulky, And my best breakers are like Lando Eye plus Basque Legion, and they actually have an Ogre Pawn Wellspring on a bench, right? So like water spam is just incredibly bad into Ogre Pawn, Hydrapple, and
Ogre Pawn, yeah.
Ogre Pawn. Yeah, wow, I couldn't say it. And I Ghost into like, it was just like really hard to break, and then obviously Lando into like Torn, Ogre Pawn, Hydrapple is like, and Chomp is like actually bad as well, right? So I really struggled to get my breakers to do anything. So I figured like that Screamtail was, and even Blaziken, right? If I Terra, they had a Scizor on the bench too, so, right? You could just run like Bulky Chomp plus like a max defense Hydrapple, and you're gonna eat up the hits, and even a +2, or you can take Rough Skin Rocky Helmet into Prio. So it's really hard to win with Blaziken, and because I needed to be Terra Electric. Because if you look at this Thorn matchup, my flying resist is a Skarmory, so I just don't have a lot of resist, and Thorn gets a lot of entries.
Yeah, this
so it's
mine
like-
team looks really cool. Like,
It's
everything
really
has like 7,000 BSD, you know? Like, Garg, for I
Yeah.
think it was 4 points, and it's Terra Garg as well. Like, this is a Pokemon that's like been like free-falling down the draft board. I feel like it's like really good value at this point.
Because it's bad because of Salt Cure and Cover Cloak, but like when it's on your main mon and it's just in a bag, it's so annoying, right? And you'll see obviously this game's like Terra Fairy, Garg, Terra Poison, right? If he clicks Terra Fairy with the Garg, what on my team can damage it? Not Darkrai, not Skarm, not Blaziken, and not Cyclizar,
Yeah.
right? So I have 2 mods that can damage it because it's like bulk up Screamtail with sub leftover, so you can set up on it, and then it's wheezing.
Yeah,
Because
Clyde's also
of,
saying Garg on Knock
yeah.
spam is good. And like you have Nocturne, Knock Quack, Knock Alolan Knock
Yeah,
Ogre Pawn
like,
as
if you
well
look
on
at
the
this-
bench. Yeah.
If you look at this match, it's incredibly hard. Like, and most of the mocks that I was winning was just like Screamtail killing everything.
Yeah. Let's get into it.
But yeah,
Right, Darkrai lead
Yeah,
into
Darkrai
the Terra Fairy Garganackle. Forced out immediately, even like without Terra, you force it out.
yeah.
3
yeah,
rocks. Could defog here. Instead goes for a Toxic, trying to just hit the Garganackle with the neutralizing gas, but Torn gonna come in
but
and
see
absorb
here,
that.
like, I don't even have a Torn switch in, right? Because like if you think about it, my best way to make progress that game and offensive is Screamtail, right? I didn't have anything else,
Mhm.
and it is Terra Electric. But if I get knocked, I'm fucked, right? Because I don't have my lefties. So I need to keep it healthy. But yeah,
Mhm.
at this point, and now it's just like Garg, switching in and out like with Torn. Now he
Yeah,
went
the
Muck.
muck here covers like a Darkrai double, I guess.
It's like this actually gives me my rock, so
It
that's
does.
fine. But he Garg.
Another Salt here, another day.
Yeah, he didn't want to get whisked, I assume. But
Yeah,
that
of
was
course
fine,
not.
right? 'Cause I could just roost it off.
Hmm.
Roost one off, and I'm a bit healthier.
Yeah.
But now he can just Salt Cure for free again.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that guy was incredibly annoying, right? And as soon as it terras, like what am I supposed to do to damage it? Right? Because it's the Wheezing, but Wheezing, like it's a free Torn, and Torn gets free pressure on my whole team. But I mean, this is not too bad, right? I can trade the Wheezing with Torn, but like if I don't have Wheezing, then like the rest of the team is just so good, right? Because the Wheezing matchup was extremely good.
Yeah, losing the Black Sludge is a big deal because now that 12% adds
Yeah.
up much faster.
Yeah, but I realized at this point I need to trade Wheezing with Torn because there's no way I'm beating that Torn. Because everything that beats Torn, they just go Garg. And
Yeah.
there's nothing I can.
Neutralizing Gas
Right.
does prevent the regen, so the Torn was essentially trapped there. Or you give off a
Yeah.
huge pain split, and like you have to do the whole thing over again. Now the Terra Fairy comes out on the
Yeah,
Draco
I
Meteor, and
want-
down goes Charles.
Yeah. So the point was like I wanted to Draco, then you turn out and get something else in.
Mhm.
Also, like if I look at it, I could have. Oh yeah, there you go. One thing I could have done is double out when I had Darkrai in versus Thorn and get the Screamtail in and then set up, right? I think that was like my opportunity to like get more progress early, but
Maybe, but then like the Torn just knocks your Scream, and it's like kind of homeless now.
yeah, I had to double out. But like if I get a sub up, like Torn can't come in on Electric Scream, right? Because it'll just lose.
Yeah,
to
yeah.
one.
You're saying like double
'Cause
on
it
the
can't
Garg?
break up. If it's
what you're
not
saying?
your turn, it can't break. Yeah, it's like Darkrai forced the switch out to Garg and
Yeah.
set up the sub, but It's just hindsight because it's still like
Yeah.
yeah. And at
Okay,
this
we're
point, I'm
setting
just
up
like,
here, but Haze Muck, Mind Gaming thought of everything.
yeah, but that's fine. Like haze muck doesn't matter. I just keep setting up
Yeah,
on it,
true.
right? Because look, it doesn't break sub. Now I attack. If he hazes, I bulk up again.
Yep.
I mean, you'll see the sequence.
Yeah, this
Actually,
does beat the Muck
it
1v1,
doesn't
but it
even-
does prevent like +6, which is important.
Yeah. Because if I got to +6, the game was just over. Right?
Yeah, of course.
And now here comes the Hydrapple, and here, yeah, it doesn't even two-shot. That was a min roll, right? And I should have calced. Like the mistake I should have attacked it again because I had a chance to kill. And if I killed, like I think I ended up winning the game in the long run.
Yeah, maybe.
But
If you kill it, like nothing beats the Scream. Like, what are they supposed to go to?
yeah. I mean the chomp, I guess, but like, yeah. Now I go back out to Scream.
A lot of switches. Now the spike goes up, so your Scream has to come in at like what? 38?
Yeah. Yeah. No, it was just yeah. Like I just got destroyed.
Yeah. Rest Muck as well gets rid of the Wisp.
Yeah.
Blaziken goes for the overheat, but Garg is like max Spadef, so takes that no problem. And at -2, can actually heal on this Blaziken.
Yeah, so now I'll try to get the Scream Tail in.
Yeah, it makes sense. But now Mind Gaming knows what's up. You can just go hard Garchomp, which covers bulk up because you can't bulk up and sub. Like both of them is how you win, but Garchomp ensures you can't get both. It's one or the other.
Yeah, like one thing I thought of was I could have had Ice Punch, but like Ice Punch like was a really hard call, right? Because that was only better if the Hydrapple was not like because I liked having a Fairy Stab if the Hydrapple Terror was electric resist on like Electric Apple.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I had play because I had Ice Punch at first, but like Ice Punch into a Terror Electric Apple was basically just like
Homeless.
nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just like if you look at it, it's like 4 of my mods just couldn't do anything that game. It was like so hard, right? It was like Screamtail, I had to do everything, and that's kind of what happened, right? Screamtail forced damage on Apple, Muck, setup, and damage on Chomp, but yeah, and I get a nice little crit.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a sad game. It was.
Yeah. 35
but,
is disgusting.
Yeah, that team is. Woo.
Yeah. This does look like a classic low QP build. You got the Screamtail, but you're facing up against like, yeah, everything just has 700 BST. It's tough.
Yeah.
All right, so now what's the
so now
series at?
It's 5-1 for them.
5-1 for them. So that was
Yeah,
the decider.
we got like that was a sad loss, bro. Like,
Yeah, kind of got
destroyed
cheesed.
and-
Cheese.
Yeah.
Every low QP build required to have a mon that hasn't been used in 2 years, and the last person to use it had to be him. That's Screamtail right now. But anyways,
pretty much.
now we have this is Blitz, I believe, versus Rye, right? Let's get into it. The series is over, so we're just gonna like breeze through these. Thunderous versus Metagross, get the knockoff into weakness policy. Lead Metagross should just claim a kill here. Yeah, Rock Slide will do the job, and now like. Do you even kill this Metagross? No item, so Weavile Knock doesn't kill. You have to go Cofagrigus. Goes for Wisp on the Clefable switch in, so maybe gets away with it there. Knockoff gonna get the leftovers off of Cofagrigus, but also gets rid of the Magic Guard. So this Clefable is taking burn here.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
That was
But
super
Zapdos can come in. Another Wisp, so nice double Wisp there. Catches the Zap on the switch. Can't really stand with Clef there. Especially not with a Magic Guard. So Toxic, nice onto the switch to Piloswine. Can just go for a Heat Wave, I suppose. Get a little bit of chip as rocks go up. Feels a little risky, but it's fine, I suppose. Now you go Clefable on the double to Weavile. If this is banded Weavile, this can just kind of click the ice move, and it does do that. It is banded, but doesn't kill, no flinch. I'm going to take this Forced Protect as a turn to go into Jirachi and threaten with a Iron Head potentially. Maybe just, oh, and a Calm Mind, something far more sinister. But the Encore Clefable catches that, so Rye forces that out. Wish in the air, Tentacruel in. But this could be a pass to, yeah, Zapdos, coming all the way back up to full. Maybe not full, but like pretty high up. But the Acid Spray is quite interesting. Tenta is now going to be threatening big chip onto this Zapdos, but the Thunderbolt full para is going to be a little bit preventing that from happening. That's chill. And goes for a Roost. Weavile takes it as an entry point, now once again threatening an Ice move, but instead goes for a knockoff, catches Static, but crits through that, and there's a Yachi, a lot happening there, but ends up with Weavile parried. Now Tentacruel comes in on the Greninja U-turn. Toxicroak comes in, Thanos has entered the field. Swords stances up on the Tentacruel as hidden power, what's that, Psychic? Puts it in Salic range. Like, what the fuck? But we have multiple Ice Shards here, so Bullet Punch is going to get a little bit of Parting Chip, but Ice Shard finishes that off. Piloswine not too useful in this endgame, so nothing really lost there. Greninja going to take that KO, but now reveals Physical, which is interesting. You can go Weavile and just attack here. Knockoff does kill the Metagross. But now Greninja comes in, goes for a U-turn. You know it's locked into knockoff, so you can U-turn into Clefable if it stays in. Pretty safe maneuver there, but look at this Jirachi, like, kind of scary. You kind of have to encore it, but I guess Donphan can come in. Oh, never mind, that's like AV Donphan, so Earthquake pretty safe here. As we go Cofagrigus. This is 28, reasonable chip. Another Earthquake. We're just gonna take a Wisp for fun. Could Clefable have switched in there? Clefable actually can't switch into it can't switch into Hex though. Like if you Hex on Clefable, it's 2-hit KO. You can't get the instant heal. You have to wish and then you die. So maybe a 50-50 in a sense, but Ride does not get that one correct and ends up with a burn Donphan. And now Cofagrigus, I mean, even without the burn there, Cofagrigus kind of walls this. So really the only thing preventing this Cofagrigus from sitting on the whole team is the Greninja maybe? But can Greninja even kill? It's physical. And like Wisp Cofagrigus might just be like Thanos Supreme. Like how do you kill it? Is Blitz the second coming of the Dookie Whisperer? Because now you can just burn some sleep turns. Clefable comes in hoping for like a non-hex, gets it, and encores, but yeah, so encores into the Sleep Talk. Rashi comes in on the Wish, has to protect here, but the Calm Mind this time gets the Calm Mind in front of the non-encore, and now should just be a Flash Cannon as Donphan comes in. That's going to be a 2-hit KO. We know it's not Custap, even if it was, you're burned. And Jirachi looks like it just finishes off the game. Like, forget the Cofagrigus, Jirachi's the one leading up this one. Yeah, Energy Ball comes out, easy 2-hit KO in conjunction with Flash Cannon. Down goes Clefable, and the Greninja. Can it even kill the Jirachi? If it can, can't really kill the Cofagrigus, right? And it's Culver Berry anyways. Wouldn't have killed without it, funny enough. But Jirachi gets it done after a pretty strong start from the Metagross, right? Getting a free KO turn 1, and like big chip after that. But yeah, Blitz able to stay composed, come back with the Jirachi and Cofagrigus, putting in a lot of work. The Weavile as well did a lot that game. And now we go into the game 8. Wombo versus Bobber in Usum. Deoxys lead into the Crocodile. Potentially a Rocks trade here, but could be a taunt as well. Taunt Crocodile prevents the Rocks from Deoxys. Now we go into Torn T on the Rocks. Could be a Defog here, but instead of me a U-turn, get some chip. Probably going to be a knockoff coming, so just go Primarina to absorb it. It's Rock Tomb instead, so even better for Wombo. Now threatening a big, powerful Water or Fairy move. Probably Fairy, yeah, because the Feeny could come in there. Knocks out the lead Crocodile. So rocks up, some chip on the Prim. Fair enough. Now Zera in, but we have a Nidoqueen. Is that like, yeah, I was going to say, is that Specs? It's Life Orb, some kind of boosting item there. 2-hit KOs the physically defensive Nidoking. Or Nidoqueen, sorry. Yeah, now Deoxys can come in, but a second taunt. And now again prevents the rocks as we go into Feeny on the Deoxys. Catches an Icy Wind. This is going pretty well for Bobbert so far. It's 6-5, but like it feels like he's getting a lot of progress right now. Calm Mind's up on the Nightshade. Now Deoxys could get Rocks up if it wants to. Does elect to do that, but this means that this Feeny is going to be getting a KO. It's actually Defog Feeny. That feels wrong because you can just set up Rocks again with Deoxys and you just fogged your own Rocks. Well, what are we doing here? Like, Bobbert. What the fuck? No offense, but like, this is ugly, bro. Here's a Nightshade on the Moonblast. Free rocks, but the defog. Yeah, now you just Nightshade, right? We heal, okay. This is just a funny sequence, bro. Already -6 evasion. When have you ever seen that? Oh my god. Now you can just kill this and you're at full. Holy shit.
Yeah, now what does
Now you rock on the Gallade. But it's a third taunt!
Oh no, it's not it.
But it's Icy Wind, okay.
no.
We're prepared. And now you can just Nightshade, right? Nightshade and a Torkoal is a fort KO.
Imagine like having a dead Deoxys.
Yeah. Oh my god, that's Specs Torkoal. But the rocks are going up. All those taunts, all those defogs. It wasn't enough. That was crazy. And the Rocky Helmet breaks the multi-scale. This is so homeless. Primarina comes in, forces the Z, I suppose. Knocks out the Prim. That's chill, whatever. Now Torn comes in. Goes for Tailwind. What is this game? Ice Punch into potentially E-Speed will just knock it out. Goes for Dragon Dance on the Switch. Is this faster than Physically Defensive Nidoking at +1? We're never gonna find out. What the fuck? This is not a real game. Gallade comes in on the last turn of Tailwind. Earth Power does a massive 20. We Stone Edge the Nidoqueen. Obviously predicting the Torn there, but just a Psycho Cut. This is a wild game. Scizor comes in, gonna get Bullet Punch, KO.
Alright, finally something normal.
Yeah. Zeraor comes in, definitely gonna be packing Fire Punch, but Scizor eats that up, gets burned. No, bro. Zera's still gonna come out on top though. Still gonna come out. It comes out on top because of the burn. But now Diggersby comes in, threatening a quick attack, gonna sack the Torkoal on that quick attack. Now Dragonite has to come in, but can Dragonite even kill the Diggersby? It's slower. It ties to Ice Punch, so Wombo comes out with a victory. This one was one for the ages.
I'm glad that wasn't a teammate that counted.
Yeah, imagine if this was like the decider. Holy, okay. All right. So actually, Slick is not going to be joining us for our series, so he's feeling sick.
I'll be leaving
Unlucky.
you for the other series. I gotta go get a haircut. So.
All right. See ya.
For the rest of the stream, everyone.
Mm-hmm. All right. So we're gonna.
Wyatt.
You look UP for your bye.
So
this is my series.
This is your series. It's our series.
Yeah.
We got Duck Pond versus Robin here for the VGC match. It's a Sun Mirror, which is super AIDS, but yeah, let's just get into it, honestly.
Yeah, it's VGC, right? Like, we don't have our expert Lantern comic here, so we can just probably get into it.
Yeah. It's gonna be Arrow, Como lead into Charizard and Crocodile. Our Crocodile is gonna be Choice Scarf here. Can go for like a bunch of things here. We have Rock Tomb into the Arrow. Rock Tomb plus Charizard double up will prevent the Tailwind, right? So Arrow goes down. Como goes for a Clanging Scale, does big damage, but not a KO on either side. Reveals Life Orb. Okay. Now Metagross comes in, but Metagross can also get hit by this Rock Tomb if it Mega Evolves. So it does feel like a Rock Tomb Heat Wave play is still on the cards, right? Goes for the Mega Evolve, but we protect instead. Okay, Vacuum Wave. That is kind of cool from the Como, so that is interesting. But now we can go Aerodactyl potentially in Tailwind, and Rock Slide feels pretty safe. Or Tailwind and Heat Wave is what I meant to say.
Mm-hmm.
And we crit the Como like a beast. Unnerve goes before Intim always, or is it Champ Stuff? It's by speed order. So you know the Unnerve Pokemon is faster than the Intim one. Right?
I think so.
Oh no, because the Crook was Scarf. So maybe that's a champions thing.
Oh,
I don't know.
okay.
That is strange. Yeah, good catch on that. Why did it do that? Okay, we're here. Now, Helping Hand on the Metagross is interesting. This Bullet Punch, but we're Sash Arrow, of course. So, dual Wing Beat into the Clefable and just Heat Wave. Feels pretty safe. Bang. And this is like completely won. Yeah, so game 1 goes to Duck Pond as we go into game 2. And now let's see the adaptation. Arrow's going to lead this time with Charizard rather than anything else. But Charizard Crook again. This feels like Thanos with Crocodile Rock Tomb, right? But Arrow could be Protect here. There is the Protect, so guards against the Rock Tomb there. And it's going to be Ancient Power, Solar Power Charizard on their side. Not choosing to Mega Evolve there and wins like the tie or whatever. I don't know if it's a tie, but if it was, that was a tie. And then Protects on the Rock Tomb there, allows Tailwind up with the Rock Blast Arrow. Gets 3 hits, doesn't quite kill though. Rock Slide misses the arrow, or misses the Crook, but Weather Ball gonna knock it out anyways. And Flinch on our arrow, which like Rock Slide would just kill both there. So I don't like VGC guys. Alright, we have another chance to attack with our arrow. Instead goes for a Tailwind, so we get a staggered Tailwind advantage. Misses Dual Wing Beat as we Rock Blast the Charizard. This is just not a real game, right? Hyper Voice comes out and knocks out the arrow. Now we have Tailwind advantage with Sylveon on the field into Vileplume Como. We do have Dual Wing Beat into the Vileplume, which we're going to click. Does a lot of damage, but we have Moonblast into Como, scouting for the Soundproof as Sleep Powder misses. So now this is pretty simple. Just Dual Wing Beat the Vileplume. And honestly, you know this is special Como. You can just Hyper Voice to cover for like a miss on arrow. And if it's soundproof, then you know that for game 3. And if it's like Overcoat, trying to guard against Sleep Powder Venusaur, which it very well could, then you just win. Here's a Vacuum Wave actually, so it picks that off. But again, like Hyper Voice Theory just wins. But instead we Moonblast and let the Vileplume live into it KR Sylveon, which was a choice of all time, I think. But that brings us into a game 3. And Unnerve is an exception. Found people thinking about it, that's why it ignored Speed Order. Okay, yeah, so Unnerve, I guess, is the only one that does that differently, I suppose. Charizard Arrow this time into Charizard Venu. So can go for Sleep Powder, misses the Sleep Powder because this is VGC. Rock Blast gonna OHKO the Charizard. And now Heat Wave brings this down to Sash. So great opening for us. Now Arrow in. But you can just go... We switch. Because I guess we're threatening Sleep Powder and Rock Move into Charizard. But we lived that, so it wasn't a speed tie earlier. But we just flinch on our Charizard. Love that. And now Solar Beam. Why did our Crook switch in? I don't know. That's 2 hit KOs for the Arrow Vileplume combination. Now Sylveon's in. Potentially threatening Quick Attack into the Vileplume if we have it. But I guess we just don't have it. And now this should just be Hyper Voice Theory. But we get flinched because we love VGC. Wake Up goes for the Tailwind. But the arrow is faster than our Sylveon in Tailwind, and that's going to be... Okay. Shout out to VGC, bro. Yeah.
Rock Slide is cool.
So we're down 0-1 as we win a game 2. Nerf versus Void of Darkness. Damn, attacking Vileplume first one though? Yeah, 100%. That looked fun. I love VGC. Yeah. Very awesome. Alright. Let's go on to game 2. As we have a SV matchup. This is going to be Terra Water Bolt, which gives us Terra Blast into stuff like the Landorus, as well as there's Ursaluna on the bench over the Bramblegast. We do have Terra Fairy Excadrill as well, just to get that defensive typing into Roaring Moon, Keldeo, and like live the Lando EQ, stuff like that. On the other side, it's just Terra Water Keldeo, which into our team does kind of indicate specs. Outside of that, I think the other Terra was benched. So let's get into the game. Kingser, don't react to my game, please. We got him, man. I'm sorry. Roaring Moon leads off into the Meast Prit. This is always just free rocks because we are Culberberry. I get the rocks up on the rocks trade here as we go for a T-Wave because we know the rocks trade is coming. Don't need to worry about an Encore. Now, Excadrill comes in. Potentially can just spin here or force the Bramblegast in. Either way, Sword Stance is great here as a knockoff gets rid of our J-Ricky. Now we can just go for a spin. It's really hard to go Bramblegast in this situation. Kind of have to go Lando. There's that spin, and now we can just Terra Fairy. Actually just knock this out. We go for a spin, though, instead, and stay normal typing and die to Earthquake. So that was awesome as a teammate of Void of Darkness.
Yeah, potentially a mistake there.
Yeah. He said it was like a misclick. Like, supposed to Terra there and just get massive value, right? But
Yeah.
alas. Now Cinderace comes in, we'll knock this out because we are choice banded. But now this allows a Keldeo turn, and we do have a very bulky Raging Bolt to come in on this, but this is a Specs Terra Water Keldeo. Still does a pretty healthy amount of damage, but we can just go for a Volt Switch here because the ground type is dead. And when G-King comes in on a Volt Switch, it's a eject button. But you'll see that next time, I'm sure. Roaring Moon comes in, U-turn on the Rocky Helmet Mandibuzz into Keldeo, so it's a lot of Volt Switch into just kill something theory. Now Surf comes in, gets like absolute max roll with the J-Ricky back to 43, and now we are threatening Thunderclap, but it does take like a pretty high roll to knock out our Raging Bolt, and like the G-King can just kind of come in here for free. But we go for a Volt Switch as Surf comes in, and we just get high rolled again. Unfortunate. But now Cinderace comes in, threatening a Choice Banded Double Edge. Slowking's gonna come in and what, freaking die? Yeah, freaking die. So everything is just dying in this game. Tinkaton comes in to reestablish a Rock Slayer, but this allows Basque Legion to come in and something freaking dies because we're Choice Banded. Now Roaring Moon in, but we do have the Mandibuzz for this reason. Can just pivot in on the Outrage, get 2 helmets. And that's going to put it in range of, like, potentially even an Aqua Jet after rocks. So now Meast Prit comes in. And it's actually locked into Outrage here, so we can't just go for a U-turn or something. Ice Beam. Yeah, knock out the Roaring Moon. And now what? Bramblegast comes in. We sack our Legion to prevent a spin kill, I suppose, because spin kill +1 speed just sweeps, right? So kind of have to do that. But turns out this is Scarf Bramblegast anyways, so it just swept no matter what. So good bring from Nerf. The Scarf Poltergeist, pretty interesting here. Once you're able to kill the Mandibuzz, it's like really hard to deal with this, but we did have 2 Citrus Berries, so you could say we prepped for it on accident, but still wasn't enough. And so now what? We're down 0-2. This is so sad. Right.
Now we got Yurduck versus Sir Peanut Crunch.
Yeah, so Yurdunk has had a really insane tournament year in like OU and in draft, right? Won the World Cup MVP in OU, I think it was, and then in draft he's been like really popping off as well. So we got him onto our team, and he's playing against Sir Peanut Crunch, recent OLT winner, right? Or is it OST? It's one of those. I think it's OST, right? Official Smogon Tour. But yeah, he won that shit. So great players on both sides. Should be a good game. We do see a Cleavor. That's awesome. This is a Sun team.
Is a really good one.
Sun team from Yurdunk, but we did bench the Meowscarada in this game. Just into like Klefki and like Ice Shard Prio. It's like a good mon, but the rest of our team just felt better. What are the Terra types? We have Dragon on our Wake. And Ice on our Shocks, whereas on the other side there's a Water Thundurus and a Water Ogerpon, probably. I want to say they're both Terra, right? Yeah, they are. If we had a Clutch Guy to bring it back, it would be Yurdunk. That is so true. Let's get into it. Ninetale's going to lead off into the Cleavor. We go for the Overheat into the Focus Sash Cleavor, bring it down to Sash, and Sonak's going to knock out our Ninetales, gets the rocks up, but now Sun is up, Cinderace is in, we are Boots, and we're just going to kill something with Pyro Ball. The only fire resist is Ogerpon post Terra, or I guess they have Terra Water Thunders as well. So before they Terra, they just don't have a fire resist. So that was our plan, just lead off with the fire guys, get good chip early game. But now we have Corviknight to come in on this Weavile, knocks off the Rocky Helmet. Now a Sword Stance comes out as we just defog away these rocks. Now Triple Axle could potentially kill us, but they're not Triple Axle, which we'll take. Body Press knocks this out. And yeah, now Thunders comes in, goes for an Agility as we go for a U-turn, get a little bit of chip, and now we can go into our Walking Wake, which after tearing into Dragon will resist the electric and water combination that they decided to go for with their Terra type. Goes for a Draco Meteor, just respecting the threat as Klefki comes in. Now a Light Screen comes up, Thunder Wave in exchange for a Pyro Ball. Kind of a fair trade, honestly. Like, we don't have Meowscarada on this team, so Klefki's a little bit more expendable. But now we're going to court change those screens. So Klefki is going to go down, reestablish that light screen, but we get a light screen of our own for the time being. Cinderace is going to go down and reveal actually that the Klefki is not Light Clay. I think that's how that works. If it was Light Clay, it would go on to both sides after court change. But now Okidoki reveals the Choice Scarf, knocks out the Ogerpon, and Terapagos comes in. This is going to spin onto our Sandy Shocks, but our Sandy Shocks is like bulky with Citrus Berry, so is able to live 2 Terra Starstorms, and with Light Screen is going to live 3. So now it forces a Calm Mind to try to get through the guy, but because they go for a Calm Mind and not a spin, we can go into our Scarf Okidoki, and the Terapagos is not max speed timid, so we're able to just knock it out with a close combat. Now another close combat comes out into the Thundurus. Don't want to allow this to set up for free. We do have Light Screen up, so may as well just use it there. And there's the para, full para. Okay, awesome. Here's a nasty plot. Another full para. This is so awesome. How does that happen, bro? But Walking Wake does come in and should be able to live any hit. Yeah, 43%. Yeah. Knocks it out with each Dragon Pulse, and that's going to be the game.
Well played from Yurdo.
Yeah. Brings it back to 1-2, still in Claw and Order's favor, but now we have game 4, which is going to be Wyatt versus Aonfa. Take it away.
Okay, so like, as you can see, we have a Crobat on our team, and the enemy team's only flying resist is Raikou. So we decided to kind of capitalize on that and make it an offensive Crobat set with Choice Band. The only real problem like we were having in this matchup was like early Celebi getting rocks up and being like really hard to kill. So we decided to lead the Crobat to just like, you know, guarantee huge damage on it if it wants to stay in, if it leads. And then other than that, Entei also had a really good matchup here. There's a bench Tentacruel, but like that makes the only 2 fire resists Infernape and Tentacruel, both mons that don't really beat Entei one-on-one. So we tried to get a lot of value with Entei here by bringing Assault Vest so that it could just trade with literally anything on the team. Except for like Modest Life Orb Landorus, that's pretty much the only thing that like Okos the Entei. So yeah, like we kind of just built the team around those two. And then Chomp was kind of used as like a mid-game breaker that could like usually take down 2 with it, because we have the Ice Resist Berry, and then like its speed tier with Sword Stance kind of just guarantees like 1.5 or 2 kills every time. Yeah.
Especially with this team lacking a fairy, it's really hard for them to prevent like Sword Stance Outrage from claiming like multiple kills. Especially with like a bulky spread like we had. Then yeah, let's just get into it.
Right, Crobat theory. As we said, we lead Crobat. So here, like, I'm not too scared of Scarf Raikou for my Crobat, so I just opt to get the big U-turn damage. I was seeing some Scarf Kyurem or Infernape, but like to revenge my bench superior, but Scarf Raikou didn't really make too much sense to me in the matchup, so like I'm not really too scared of that. Here, I just want to scout out what Raikou's doing by going Sylveon, which is pretty safe. I see he's just setting up Calm Mind, so I go to my AB Entei, which like beats it and gets to start chipping the rest of the team with Sacred Fire.
Mm-hmm.
What do I do here? I switch to Crobat.
Kind of covers the CC and the Earthquake plays available for the Infernape.
Yeah, exactly. And then it covers like, you know, doubles to most mons. Here, I don't know if this is Scarf Kyurem or not, so I'm gonna go to my one of my safe switch-ins with Starmie, because my defensive Starmie can just set up Light Screen and not really take any damage from this.
Yep.
And then this I'm actually a light clay here, which really helps like my Entei and Aggron take hits even better. So here, like, I don't know anything about this Kyurem, so I'm just gonna try to like fish for burns. Now I see that this crit did less than half, so like I know it's basically max defense, I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
And now that I know that, I'm kind of comfortable just going Sylveon and then wish passing back up. And like, there's not really anything other than Landorus that he can switch into that would really give my Entei a problem.
Even then, like, you have
And
Light Screen, AV, so like Earth Power is like
Exactly,
actually
yeah.
doing half.
And the only real threat that was like causing problems, like other than that early Celebi sequence that I talked about, was Rock Polish Lando, like in the late game once stuff is chipped. So like if I could just get any damage onto Lando early game, like it would also kind of just invalidate it because like it won't be able to get that polish up later while also like surviving the prio and stuff. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Now here,
Entei with the screen here and wished up
Yeah.
is just like Thanos. That was supposed to be his nickname, but I forgot
Yeah,
to
yeah.
add it.
can we talk about no burns? Like, we use
Yeah, like
now
people are just
4
fishing for
Sacred
burns,
Fires.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I don't really love going Sylveon and trading with this because like it kind of opens up him going like Scizor or like other annoying shit, getting rocks up with Celebi. So I'm kind of just fishing for the burns with Entei. I don't get any, but yeah.
Yeah,
I
here-
think there I didn't force it to roost, but like I'm pretty sure it's not just gonna sit there in Earth Power again. Like, you know,
Yeah.
because I could go Sylveon, I could go Starmie. Like I'm pretty sure if it stays in, it's gonna roost. And then if it's not staying in, then Aggron is fine. Because now that Kyurem is chipped, I just need rocks up, and then next time it won't be able to just switch in and live.
Yeah. Speaking of next
And
time, here it is.
Yeah.
Entei comes
This is
in
another thing we
before
were
rocks.
seeing a lot. Defensive Celebi's just getting rocks up. So here I just want to switch in my Crobat or Entei to get like to force it out and chip the rest of the team.
Mhm.
I wasn't expecting Salic and Fernic, but I guess it didn't really matter. Then
Yeah.
here I think I'm out of Sacred Fires. So they're trying to roost up their Kyurem because they're kind of in a desperate spot. But we bought the Flare Blitz because we were seeing like some pressure stall for the only 8 PP Sacred Fire and Mox. So we were like, okay, let's just switch the useless fourth move or an AV set. Let's just put another attack on. Like,
Yeah.
a backup for if we run out of Sacred Fires.
Mhm.
And here's the situation I was talking about where like Rock Polish Lando here is like really scary. And it's kind of the only threat in general. So like I just need to get chip on this so that it can't like if it rock polishes now, I'll be able to E-speed twice. And then if I E-speed and it kills me, then it won't be able to just set up later. Like yeah, and I also have the full HP Chomp, which lives 1 and like can kill after the E-speed. So yeah.
Mhm.
That's my logic for just letting the Entei go here. And like I don't super need it for any of the other 3 either at this point.
Yeah, because like Crobat, you have for the Celebi, and you have Aggron for the Scizor. Like, you're perfectly fine.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I forgot to say too that if he does kill me, the Crobat just guaranteed kills something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now Scizor in, but we can't just go Aggron, right?
Yep,
Even plus
we
2
got a full HP
superpower
still.
like bounces,
Yep.
like boing boing boing.
Yeah. And then we got the Fire Punch for this.
Yep. Bang! The wall. Now Lando
Yeah, and
comes
then
in.
now I just click an attack because all I need to do is not let this set up, and then Crobat
That's just
kills
bet
everything,
theory.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lives on 1, I think, after this recoil too.
Yeah. Nice. Alright, really well played from you. Really clean game.
Yeah,
Completely
like
dominated.
like especially like into their brings, it just felt like our matchup was like pretty strong here. Like
Yeah, you spent a
Doesn't
lot of
much.
time mocking versus worst case scenario. And so like training in the mountains to then come in here and you have to face
yeah,
like
exactly.
Salic and
There's no
Fernape,
worst
you
case
know?
scenario. Yeah.
Alright. So now what? We tie up the series with that? Yeah, I think that's
Yeah,
tying
I
up the
believe
series
it's 2-2 now.
2-2, and now we have Theo versus Sub-Zero. This is like 2 of like the better players on both rosters. Well, Sub is the best player on his roster, whereas Theo is like, you know, he's really good on our roster as well.
King L5 burrito folding tutorial.
Burrito folding tutorial. You know what? I had like multiple burritos yesterday. Like, if I can just take a brief tangent to be fat real quick. Yesterday I was like, what sounds good right now? A burrito. So I made 2 burritos. They were both like 80% of a Chipotle burrito in size to put in reference. So like I'm a little fat in the way I eat, but one of them was ground beef, cilantro rice, black beans, pico de gallo, and lettuce and cheese. And the other one was the same thing, except instead of ground beef, I put salmon in there. So it was like a salmon burrito, which I recommend to a friend. It was really good. Some fries on the side. Whew, what a good meal. But anyways, back to Swish, right? Theo using his bulky team as usual, this time with a Gothitelle, which we've seen once before in the past on his teams, last DCL, where but Carne Asada. I decided to just go for ground beef, easier. Salmon burrito sounds amazing, also incredibly gluttonous. It's actually healthy if you think about it. It was a lot of food, but it was satisfying. But yeah, Gothitelle is like really good for like a fat team like this. You saw it in OU all the time, where you just trap the problematic mon, and then like you're fine. You're just chilling versus the rest of the team. This is a similar theory where like the best stall breaker they have is Togekiss by a lot. And so if we're able to trick Scarf the Togekiss, then we can just go into our Inner Focus Umbreon plus like AV G-King, and like it's completely homeless, It cannot break this team without like Nasty Plot Heal Bill, like specifically. So Scarf Lock that, it's basically dead. And the rest of the team is like really whatever, right? I guess there's like Weavel's a big threat, because there's no real ice resist, but Skarmory can like helmet it down, body press, all that stuff. Not the end of the world, but yeah, get into it. Zygarde leads off into the Rotom-Mow. Pretty safe to just like go into G-King here, scout this out. Leaf Storm comes out. It's going to be, what, Eject Pack? Yeah, Eject Pack lead into Silvally Ghost. So gets the position early on, U-turn onto the Umbreon. So a lot of switch moves coming. Now Landorus in, but we do have our Torn to just come in on this. Knockoff, not a big deal, gets rid of the boots. Now we can go for a knockoff of our own, remove an item, but Rotom already removed its own item. We can just go back to Zygarde, no problem. Once we reveal that it's like an offensive-ish Rotom set, right, with Leaf Storm, pretty safe to just go to it. Now G-King in, can stay in on Landorus because we're AV. Go for an Ice Beam, go for the trade, but Silvally comes in. This time I'm going to go Zygarde, prevents our Umbreon from getting U-turned on, but this time a multi-attack comes out, which is a good play from Sub-Zero. Now Zygarde gets the 1,000 arrows off as the multi-attack comes out, and now threats it out with the 1,000 arrows. Chip on something is going to be good, but Zygarde is low. Now Lando in, sets with the rocks, but our Torn is going to be Defog, so no problem there. Rotom again comes in, just going to go into G-King. Actually stays in here aggressively, because Volt Switch is 47. Okay, fair enough, yeah. Gets a timer onto the Rotom. Now Weavile comes in, should just knock off the helmet on Skarmory, which it does do and reveals to be Choice Banded. Which is scary with the triple axles later, but we roost up for now. Now Rotom in, can just kind of Volt Switch back into the Weavile on repeat. Feels like that is how this team is constructed, but we don't go Weavile for some reason. Feels like Weavile was really safe there, and just fire off another knockoff. Skarm comes in, you Volt again. Like, that sequence probably favors you long term, right? But Silvally instead going to come in, allows us to like break the sequence, go into our Torn, absorb that, and now into Umbreon, into Jirachi. Like, a little bit of a silly max sequence, but ends up with Umbreon in front of Jirachi for a foul play opportunity as Togekiss comes in. Reveals leftovers, which is important. So it's not like Shed Shell or anything. Can't just go hard Goth, but Silvally pivots in instead, but foul play will knock it out, so we just go for that. He switches out because ghosts are not trapped. But Rotom can just Volt Switch, and now we're back into the Weavile, right? Back into the Silvally, I suppose. Umbreon comes in on the rest turn. So rest Silvally is interesting. Here, just going to switch out into Landorus as the Umbreon takes it as a chance to heal. But now Torn comes in, can always regen versus this Landorus. Because I believe it's lacking Rock Slide. Like, Knock, U-turn, Rocks, probably Earthquake last. And now Umbreon comes in on the first triple axle. Is a 2-hit KO, potentially, if you hit all of them. So, we go Skarmory instead, which also is a 2-hit KO. But he hits 6 in a row, gonna miss the 7th one. And Body Press, gonna knock out the Weavile. I get it, you had to go for it, right? But hitting all of them is a little bit to ask for. Obviously, if you do hit them all, this is Thanos Supreme, right? But he didn't hit them all, so it's fine. Now Gothitelle in on the Togekiss, takes a T-Wave, but if we get a trick off here, game's over, basically. But 1 flinch, 2 flinches. Okay, so we can't get the trick off, unfortunate. So we go into our G-King, which is going to take 15 from this, so no problem. But Silvally can come in on this, so a double to Umbreon. Theo is really good. Like, once the pressure starts to mount, he will make a play here and there to, like, restore the board back to neutral, if that makes sense. And now a Heal Bell from Umbreon cures our Gothitelle, which is really nice. Now another T-Wave comes out and full para on the Umbreon. Not the end of the world. As we just Heal Bell again. And now what? Now Air Slash comes out. We Toxic the Togekiss, which is nice. And now what? We go into Zygarde. And the vision here is like, if you Air Slash into Zygarde, then Gothitelle gets the guaranteed trick. And you spend 2 Pokemon on that trick, but that's all you really need. Now Landers comes in on the 1000 Arrows. Is a 2-hit KO, except for the J-Ricky prevents it. So, can't just go back to our Torn. Like, pretty standard play right here. Now Silvally in, but we have a high HP Umbreon to just go to, so no problem. Now can kind of just throw off a Foul Play or a Toxic. Either one is perfectly fine here. Togekiss comes in, but a Moonlight instead. Sure, fair enough. Now again, same theory, Zygarde comes in. If an Air Slash comes out, you get the trap. And here Togekiss is going to stay and take the 1000 Arrows and get trapped by the Gothitelle. So Trick removes these leftovers, but also crucially means you can't just sit there and Heal Bell, D-Wave, all that stuff. You have to pick one move to lock in. So 2 Mons goes down, but now Umbreon comes in and Foul Plays into the Silvally for 80%, which is huge progress. And now, forced to U-turn into the Rotom, Toxic, once again established on this Rotom, back onto a timer, and Umbreon is going to be the main progress forcer now. With the Togekiss getting tricked, like Foul Play and Toxic, they don't really beat that combination with their team. They can Pain Split, keep the Umbreon low, but like, it's fine. Why wouldn't he just switch out on the trick? Because Gothitelle is broken. Now Togekiss comes in on the Foul Play, a little bit chip, but can just kind of Toxic this as the Umbreon. Instead going to go Torn on the T-Wave, maybe calling an Air Slash or something like that, maybe a Roost or a Heal Bell. But still. Slowking comes in, can just stay on the Landers, doesn't die to anything. Does Silvally really not have anything to hit Umbreon hard? It has U-turn. That's it. Like in the entire move pool, I think that's it. Now again, Shameless Sub-Zero goes for 2 flinches and gets them both. But we have Focus, or Inner Focus Umbreon specifically for this Jirachi Togekiss combination. So like, lol, get C-teamed. Now cures the paralysis onto our Torn, and can just kind of heal off this damage versus Togekiss can just Heal Bell the para next turn anyways. And yeah, Rotom comes in. But this should just be G-King, and G-King also makes some good progress right now as these Silvalli's at 20% can't really switch into anything. So for the time being at least, this Slowking is an offensive threat as they go into Jirachi on the Flamethrower. There's 34%. Good progress is being made. Now Torn comes in on the Wish turn. Now you have to be a little bit careful here with Nocturne, because if you knock off the Scarf from Togekiss, the game becomes a lot more difficult. So he's going to play around that. Going to go into Umbreon here. And because this Jirachi's physical, Foul Play is like immensely threatening to it. So can just kind of go for it. Bring the Rotom low. And should just be back to G-King. But a Volt Switch comes out. Just stays in. Foul Play snipes the Jirachi actually. Really nice stuff. And now probably can just heal the Umbreon, right? U-turn doesn't kill. Landers in. But we can just go Torn, right? The only like bad thing that can happen is if we let rocks go up for free at this point. Now Rotom comes in. Torn can kind of just stay in an Air Slash this though. We saw earlier Volt Switch to like 47. So can just go for the flinch there, doesn't get it. But now just go G-King on the Volt Switch. Silvally does get a rest opportunity, but this does allow a Skarm heal. So if you heal your guy, I heal my guy kind of deal. So now Skarmory can just roost up. Rotom comes in, but again, we have so many options to go into on this Rotom. Just gonna be G-King. And with Skarm healthy, now letting the Silvally in isn't as much of a big deal at all. Because before, like, if he gets the play right between the multi-attack and U-turn, he can kind of force progress, but with Skarmory, that's no longer really the case, right? And now Skarmory can establish rocks of its own. So now Landorus is forced to take rocks every time it wants to, okay, never mind. We just have Defog Rotom. But still, I mean, only one of these players is making progress right now, and it's going to be Theo. Again, Skarm comes in on Silvally. It's like really like, you can just make the obvious click at this point as Theo. Don't really need to outplay. Here stays on the air slash because if you don't get flinched and rocks go up, it's a huge advantage, and if not, it doesn't really matter. Right now, Umbreon once again comes in on the Silvally as it goes for a rest turn, and now rocks up. Foul play is being threatened. This is, you know, the great situation. Foul play does a lot to Landorus, and we can just go Torn. Again, this Landorus never makes progress into our Torn. Now we do have to defog our own rocks, but that is not the end of the world. Actually, Theo says he's fine with rocks up on both sides. Goes for a knock here. So at this point, if Togekiss comes in on rocks and knock, it's probably pretty much close to range of air slash, right? So not the end of the world. And the Silvally fails to get a good sleep talk. So knockoff is basically a kill here as the Jirachi comes in. Now we go for an air slash, just covering a Togekiss, I guess. 95%, no real downside of missing either. So now we're going to go for the flinch and get it. And looks like Torn might just be able to just sweep here. Togekiss comes in, but we can just go to Slowking, no problem. Again, does 16%. And does not get the flinch this time. Down goes the Togekiss, and yeah, at this point, the Torn just wins. So he just goes Torn, doesn't allow any funny business, and that's gonna be the game. Well played from Theo. It's actually a Theodore classic. Like, you see this from him all the time. Where early games, like, oh, the guy got 2 kills, right? But what did he have to pay for those 2 kills? His entire Togekiss item. The Weavile miss was unfortunate, right? But you already hit 6 in a row. Hitting 9 in a row, that's actually like not favored for you. So is it really hacks? Theo's never lost a game that's lasted 90 plus turns. Probably not, but like maybe. Okay. Now we go on to a Kaz versus Slick Panther, and now we have Primal Ascension is up 3-2, and Kaz has a Beware, aka Thanos. Well, Thanos might actually be the T-Tar from his team, because let's take a look at his like first few turns, right? T-Tar leads off into the Camerupt. Now, normal people would see this as like probably a Rocks trade, right? But Kaz, he's one step ahead. He has the Life Orb Aqua Tail Tyranitar. No one but him, right, can come up with that. Now Mawile comes in, gets the Intim off. Our T-Tar, like, we could just Quake this, and we actually get a fortunate crit. Knocks out the Mawile. LOL.
This is a pretty good spot, right?
Pretty good, yeah.
6-4, everything full HP.
I would say this is a positive situation for Kaz. And now Serperior comes in. We can just go to our Charizard, which is quite bulky. Lives the combination of Leaf Storm, Sand, and HP Rock, actually. Funny enough. And so now we can just go for a Fire move or whatever, as Greninja comes in. Takes 50 from Flamethrower, which is kind of crazy. And you're going to see a crazy tech here. Greninja goes for a Rain Dance, trying to call out the Solar Beam from Charizard Y. Because in Sun, Greninja doesn't really hurt Zard. But with the Rain Dance, you would turn off the like insta-charge of Solar Beam. Then you get like a rain-boosted Surf into Charizard. Like, that would have been really cool if it worked. I'm not going to lie. But now Rotom comes in, and we just have to switch.
Out that the weather changed 3 times in 3 turns.
Yeah, that is kind of funny. Now Charizard in before Rocks as Mesprit. Just gonna get defogged on as we U-turn into Zygarde. But we have like physically defensive Ice Punch Beware, so can just kind of go into that. As Dragon Dance comes out, 1 Dragon Dance. Now it's 2 Dragon Dances as we Ice Punch, do big damage. And now, here's the thing. Right, +2 Z Outrage does 100% minimum to Beware. It's a kind of crazy roll, right? Why does it only do 100? But here, we really need to like sack on the Z move because everything else dies to 1,000 arrows. But Kaz, he's 1 step behind. He was at the lead, he was 1 step ahead. Now he like goes back to neutral and 1 step behind. Stays in on the Devastating Drake, and now, I mean, so a great lead from Kaz, but Zygarde is just broken. Fails to scout the Z and is gonna pay for it with his life, right? Like, that is tough. Usum, a very unforgiving tier. Like, this sort of thing can happen. But really, we just needed to scout the Z. Like, we were up 6-4. Like, just scout the Z, man. And Slick Panther ties up the series 3-3 as we go on to Champions. And this is going to be Bagos versus Meta Riolu. Alright. Do you want to talk a little bit about the matchup while I get a refill on my water?
Sure. So this matchup was interesting. So we actually have a benched Mousehold, and the enemy team has like all of the champions Mousehold counters. So it has like the defensive Ghost type in the Sinistra. It has the Skarm, which is like unkillable. It has the Chomp, which is like the rough skin mon because there's no helmet. I think there's one more on the bench that I don't remember, but yeah, basically like this was a terrible Mousehold matchup. Oh yeah, it had a belly bolt on the bench, which is the like static guy that can live and like heal up or whatever. Other than that, what else do we got here? That's like the main thing I remember about the matchup. All
right.
Yeah, I just talked about the Mousehold so far. I don't really remember anything else about the matchup.
That's true. They had like every single Mousehold counter in the game.
I think we were like thinking about like a few different Quillfish sets, and I think, well, we're gonna see it on lead here, but we brought a cool set that like is kind of luck reliant, but yeah, you can start it up if you want.
Yeah, so Gren lead into Quillfish.
Your Discord stream is lagging, so it's very possible.
Okay, looks like we're back. Okay, my internet just like blipped a little bit there, but it looks like we're good.
Okay.
We good, guys? I think we're good. Alright, let's go back a little bit just in case we missed something. Quillfish lead into Gren. It dropped from Quillita now, yeah. So we're going to see U-turn into probably Garchomp. But we're prepared for that with a Scale Shot into Ice Beam combination. But sadly, we only get 2 hits. So this Ice Beam, well, it's going to do a lot to Garchomp. We essentially trade Quillfish for Garchomp. It's not going to kill, sadly. But now Delphox can come in, potentially go for a Dazzling Gleam or a Psychic or something like that. But Spadef Blastoise can kind of deal with that. Now Quavel in on the flip turn. But this should just be a free Skarmory or Sinistra. Both of them pretty scary offensive threats into our team. So Skarmory comes in, goes for a dual Wing Beat. So avoids Brave Bird recoil with that one. And here, Stealth Rock on Stealth Rock. But you notice something? Our Crook was faster.
Yeah.
It's not because they're slow Skarm. We're actually Scarf Crook. So he actually just has to Stealth Rock again to sack it, which is so sad. Okay, Rocks traded. Delphox in. I mean, Stoice can just come right back in. I assume it's going to be Citrus Berry, but with Psychic Noise, we actually turn off the J-Ricky. So now, Blastoise actually can't get the spin off. It is 2-hit KO'd by Psychic Noise. So Delphox gets put into Rock's range from that, and Scarf Gren going to pick it off. But okay, the Blastoise is dead. If we can potentially find a Sword Stance opportunity with our Duck, or like Goldango can start to do some big damage, but Kasib, Trick Room, Slowbro, and that's going to be potentially the nail in the coffin. We kind of have to go Quavel and then back to Goldango, just kind of pivot on Resist, waste these Trick Room turns. We don't have sacks, like they just don't exist. And here stays on the flame, unfortunately, and Yeah, now Serp comes in, but anything we click besides Leaf Storm allows a Trick Room up next turn, so we have to Leaf Storm. Knocks out the Slowbro, and now it's like pretty simple, just Greninja U-turn into Skarmory, and the game's over. Yeah, so it felt like a pretty strong matchup for Riolu, but he did play it well, so credit where it's due. Down goes our Quaquaval. Bang! Well played, and that's actually going to be us down in the series 4-3 as we go into Game 8, which was my own game. Now,
The do or die here.
yeah, actually do or die, which I was not super happy about, to be honest, with our team. But okay, I have to lock in. And if you want to see my live commentary for this game, I actually uploaded this a couple days ago. You'll see it on my channel. So if you want to see like the complete live thought process, that's the place to find it. Basically, my plan going into this is just use Chi-Yu to like farm, like basically clip farm with Chi-Yu. And I was able to do that. I guess spoiler alert, but I already uploaded it, so what are you gonna do?
As Theo called it, it was the flippy whippy overheaty theory.
Yes, flippy whippy overheaty. Now, Iron Moth was on the bench. Iron Moth was something that was like not really causing problems for me, but forcing specific sets, right? So my Aloe is AV to deal with that, and my Hawlucha is Scarf Encore. This is to deal with a couple things, including like Speed Booster, like Sub, Morning Sun, Fiery Dance coverage move. As long as the coverage move beats my Chomp, that set is scary. So having Scarf Encore there, able to just like lock it into Substitute or Morning Sun, and just I could flip, U-turn, flip, U-turn, flip, U-turn. It takes a really long time for it to boost up enough to kill the Aloe. So that was like kind of my thing there. I also considered bringing like a setup Hawlucha, but the setup Hawlucha I was thinking of bringing is like Mono Acro Taunt, because it beats Corviknight 1v1 with Terra, but it doesn't beat Sandy Shocks. I was like, too many people are bringing Sandy Shocks and Mox. I'm just going to be Scarf Hawlucha, because that also revenges like Banded or Pad's Meow, both of them like relatively big threats onto me despite having a Weezing. Because like the Weezing, they can kind of punish by just U-turning into like Moth or like Shocks or like Necrozma or even like Gliscor, right? Depending on the set.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit annoying. Here we see Terra Electric Gliscor, which I was super happy to see, because like it's not the scary set. Like I knew there was like a Thanos Supreme that like could just 6-0 me. I was like, ooh, hope he's not that set. Turns out he wasn't that set. Maybe you can figure it out. I don't know. If anyone uses Gliscor versus his team, I mean, just say it's out there. But Terra Dark, physically defensive Torn. This deals with a lot of Pokemon on his team, such as like the Samurott, DD Necrozma, which is also pretty scary to my team. Stuff like Meowscarada as well. Like U-turn doesn't do that much to me. I can helmet triple axles. Very cool. And yeah, like that's pretty much it. Let's get into the game. So Shock's lead. I'm gonna lead my Torn, just get my Terra off early. And the U-turn reveals that I'm faster, which is a big deal because I have no speed on this Torn. So I know that this Sandy Shock is like max defense. So I get on my Garchomp, trade rocks. Pretty simple. He goes Corviknight. I just go for a Fire Fang because a U-turn is like definitely a very real possibility here. And I could potentially pop an Occa Berry, which I did see in some mocks, to allow for my Chi-Yu to just click Flamethrower rather than needing to overheat. Because overheat kills through Occa, but Flame doesn't. So I burn the Occa there as he goes for a bulk up. And I'm like, okay, I can go Aloe and just flip turn into my Chi-Yu. It's totally fine. But Braver does 48, which is ridiculous. Because my Aloe does have defense investment onto it. So this is like max attack Adamant Corviknight. So I'm going to pivot into my Torn T. And it's like, he does a lot of damage, right? But with Rocky Helmet and Recoil, he's actually in foul play range. So I just reveal the foul play there. Knock out the core, which is really nice for me. Because now, if the Gliscor ever Terras, he doesn't have a ground resist. And my Garchomp has a lot of really free entry points. So he like low-key can't Terra his Gliscor. Now Meow comes in, it's a pretty safe U-turn for him. I'm just going to go into my Weezing. Covers pretty much everything. He can U-turn into Necrozma. And like depending on the set, this is scary, but like I really do expect this to be physical. Either Sword Stance or DD. Because Special Necrozma, like, it's okay, right? But like you kind of need to be Meteor Beam to kill Chi-Yu, and if you like burn the meteor beam on like Garchomp or something, then like Chi-Yu hard walls you, right? So I really expected like a photon earthquake coverage because it kind of hits my whole team, and that's like kind of the reason why I'm physically defensive Dark Torn, is specifically for this Necrozma. And so I'm just gonna go to it as sub comes out. And I'm like, okay, sub could mean sub Miso Beam, like 3 attacks with Heat Wave and Photon. So I'm going to scout that out. I'm going to U-turn into my Aloe. Given that there's no Iron Moth on the other side, I don't need it necessarily. So I go into it, reveals Earthquake, and it does no damage. So I'm like, ooh, this is not a real Pokemon. Awesome. Because Photon like does like, what, 29? Or 26. Ridiculous. I break the sub, I can go back into my Torn, and now a knockoff is like super free. Like, just basically kill something, or like Samrock Gliscor, which super rely on their item, right? So knockoff removes the AV. Now my Chi-Yu is fully activated, right? My Chi-Yu is faster than 4 Pokemon and kills all 5 with Flamethrower. So that's awesome. He goes for Aqua Cutter, a flip turn combination onto my Weezing. Necrozma comes back in, but I get the defog off. Now he goes into Shocks, trying to like get the rocks back up, but my Torn is carrying Taunt. I know I'm faster, so I'm just going to do that. And now I can U-turn in my Garchomp. And Garchomp versus taunted, physically defensive Sandy Shocks, you can see Earth Power is doing 28. I can get my rocks up here. And so that's going to be nice. Give my rocks advantage. Now Gliscor's in, and I have to scout out the set, but my Torn was able to reach up to full. So I can just go to it and Foul Play. Now Foul Play into Gliscor only does 41, which actually reveals its 0 attack investment, and it's like impish. You know what I mean? Like, this is a physically defensive Gliscor. So that means a couple things. It means it can't live my Chi-Yu hit at all. But also what it means is like my Foul Play is not doing enough damage. So that kind of sucks. So here I pivot into my Hawlucha. I go for a U-turn just to see, does he Terra Electric this turn? Because if he does Terra Electric, he could Terra Blast Oko my Hawlucha. So maybe my play would be different. But I U-turn, he doesn't Terra, which means it's a free Hawlucha. He reveals Rock Tomb. And say Earthquake, Rock Tomb, Swords Stance. I thought the last one probably is Terra Blast, so that you can get through the Aloe and like Torn, stuff like that. But here, I Encore him into the Rock Tomb, and this allows me to go into my Torn. Regen that off, and I can get either Foul Play, or I can just like, you know, just do whatever. He goes into Shocks. Again, I'm going to Taunt, prevent the rocks. Chi-Yu at full HP is pretty important. And now I can just go to my Garchomp. And again, similar situation where like the only legal play is Gliscor. This time I'm going to call the Gliscor. I'm going to go hard Chi-Yu. I'm going to be rewarded with a KO, right? Now here in my live commentary, I was like, even if this is Spadef, he dies to Overheat. But I realized later in the game that even if it, like, I've revealed this spread with Foul Play. It's physically defensive. It dies to Flamethrower. So probably a cleaner line in this game would just be Flamethrowing here. But I Overheat, which is fine. Like, it still kills something, right? It's just like mischance. Could be annoying. Here he sacks Necro because it's like super homeless into this Torn. Makes sense. Gliscor is useful to keep. Now I go Shocks. I calc this like, he probably thinks I'm Scarf. So, but I'm Specs. This dies. So, a donation of Sandy Shocks. Very charitable from Panda. And now Meowscarada comes in. I could honestly Overheat again, but there's no need to. I can just go to Torn. I thought I lived this, but turns out it's actually Choice Banded. I didn't actually calc versus my Weezing. I should have done that. But Choice Banded U-turn is a roll on my Torn. He gets the roll. So down goes my Torn, which is kind of annoying. But Samrock comes in, and at this point, I want to prevent the spike from going up for free. So I'm just going to go Chi-Yu. I can take an Aqua Jet, no problem. And I can just go for a Flamethrower. No problem. Knocks this out. And now Meowscarada has to U-turn. Like, U-turn would kill this. So I go to my Garchomp. I can sack off my Garchomp. He goes for Triple Axle, which is fair enough. But what this means is I can just go into my Hawlucha, and it's a completely wrapped up endgame because U-turn kills this and also is able to position my Chi-Yu in front of Gliscor if he switches. So that's going to be a game. GG. And we tie up the series against my former teammate. You see we have the same custom avatar from DCL 2 when we won. And yeah, Flamethrower just does 100 to this, and I end up winning the game. Booyah. So that is going to be the second series. Down goes my Chiyu, but yeah, Scarf Halucha has this one in the bag. So 4-4. Now we go on to our next series, which is going to be Trick of Eye versus, was this Nimble Nightclub?
Yep.
Yep. Trick of Eye versus Nimble Nightclub. Who is DMing me on Discord? Oh, someone just said, great video. Thanks. Appreciate that. Alright, PZZ versus II. Now, II, coming off of a 7-0 Usum season in DPL, looking to continue the streak, and, you know, he has his trusty Latios, something that he's used very effectively in the past, particularly in DPL Season 8, I want to say. Was it 8 or 7, when they had, like, that Thanos, Steela, Latios, Mega Sableye, Victini team. II and Greg kind of like traded off using that team, and like remember we like looked at the replays recently because we were considering drafting something similar, and II with Latios is just built different. Like every single game he was finding the most creative sets that just are Thanos. Now here this one looks like a little bit more straightforward, where you just run Scarf and it's just really good. T-Bolt into Auto Steela, Psychic into Mega Lopunny, Draco into the Starmie. It feels like a really strong set, but keep an eye out. This guy is like a Latios, like, what's the word? Like, he's very good at using Latios. But anyways, Glaze session over. Let's get into the game. Starmie into Latios lead, and it's just going to be Scarf T-Bolt as Light Screen goes up. Threatening a KO, it goes to Uxie trying to catch the Stunfisk, but instead Scolipede comes in, a nice mid-ground from PZZ. Now threatening a Mega Horn, or can potentially even set up spikes here. It's going to be a Mega Horn into Scrafty, and it's a Life Orb Scolipede. So it gets a good chip there, but reveals, I think that's physically defensive. It's only doing 35 from Life Orb. And yeah, the foul play even further considers it, or like confirms it, is what I meant to say. Now Uxie, but again, a relentless double to the Scolipede. This time Uxie just gonna stay in and bite the bullet, right? Rocky Helmet, Life Orb, Foul Play. Gonna bring the Scolipede very low. If it attacks again into Uxie, it will be trading itself, but going to pivot into Tentacle. Catches a Superpower. Superpower trying to catch the Scrafty, I think. But instead Tentacle comes in. The Shuka Berry is going to mean that at -1, very little damage, right? Knocks out the Scolipede. Big threat gone, but it's done some damage, right? Lopunny comes in. The main Lopunny check is now dead, so it has to go Scrafty, but if this is Choppel, you kind of have to respect that, right? So Lopunny's going to switch out into the Grand Bull on Drain Punch. So this Rocky Helmet? It's not Rocky Helmet. Right. But Play Rough is a little bit annoying. Like, Play Rough plus Earthquake combination. If we don't get burned here, that's AV Grand Bull, it looks like. So AV Grand Bull, because we recognize Latios as the threat, makes sense. Now Stunfisk in for the Rocks trade. This could be Imprison Uxie to prevent Rocks, but it is not. Instead, going to be Yawn forces out the Stunfisk, and Starmie's going to be the sack. Yeah, can't exactly... Okay, this is a stupid spin, because you have Rocky Helmet. If he spins, he doesn't actually get the spin off. Like, Helmet goes before the spin effect. We have to see the Formidable Bug, but it's getting too late for me. Yeah, I'm sure you'll find it in the VOD later. Thanks for joining the stream. See you later. Yeah, if you spin into Helmet, like, the rocks stay up, so... Maybe it just doesn't have a better move to click, but Foul Play probably is better, right? Now U-turn into Scrafty. And it looks like, again, we're threatening the Choppleberry. But with Reflect Up, like... Granbull can come in. Okay, it's Roar. Interesting. Pulls the Starmie for the Rock's death. Now Granbull once again comes in, gets another Intim. It's Figgy, so that's like Spadef Granbull, not AV. So Spadef Bulk Up is interesting. Just gonna sack the Uxie now. You got your chip. Yeah, so Granbull not really getting the most value, because now Latios can come in and just click Psychic. There's no more like real resist. Like Steela can resist it, but you assume Steela is the win condition here. Goes into Scrafty on the Autotomize. Can it kill the Scrafty? If it's special, it can. So do we see an Air Slash here? We see a Z move. Z superpower, it looks like. But Zero Aura gonna come in. It's actually Scarf Zero Aura plus Scarf Latios, so always has something to revenge the Auto Steela. Makes sense. Now Fake Out. Do we have Quick Attack? We do have Quick Attack. So Zero Aura goes down, but Blade can just come in, lives any hit from this, can just go for a CC. Will to it KO the Stun Fisk, yeah. 66% is kind of insane. But just knocks that out, and now last one, Lopunny will not be able to deal with the Scarf Psychic from Latios. You can just sack your Scrafty here as well, get the Intim off, like, just do as much as you can to prevent odds from getting in your way. Gotta go late in, just go for a CC, yeah, whatever, dude. Maybe it's not Scarf Lati and it's just a slow Starmie. That is possible. That's why he took this path. But, yeah, either way. II with another win under his belt. Triggervi go up 1-0 in the series as we go into Game 2, Lejon versus Brian. Keep the sides consistent real quick. Triggervi for Lejon. Brian is going to be on the nightclub. Alright. And I am going to kind of... Here's the thing, right? I have work in an hour. Am I going to get through 2 series by then? Not really. So I could probably take my time on this one and do another stream for the next series. Maybe tomorrow. Yeah, that's probably what we're going to have to do.
Yeah, instead of breaking up the series like that.
Yeah, so we'll finish this series and then end stream for today. But yeah, Brian versus Lejon. So Tarap, Keldeo, Cinderace as like the top tier guys, with Terra Cresselia as well. Something that's been like popping off in OU recently, and we've seen Manu use it quite effectively in draft as well. On the other side, it just looks like an HO team. Like you have your Samurott Spikes, you have the booster cores, Michael, and then Brambleghast for a spin support, I suppose. Yeah, let's get into it. Water Moth, Ghost Hands is interesting. Water Keldeo, and Poison on the Cresselia. Kilowattrel leads off. Shades of Uzi Gunner as we just air slash as rocks go up. So Spit Lando, it looks like, just as like a counter lead to something like the Tarap or the Dragalge, makes sense. Now we get a U-turn into our Iron Moth, which should be able to 1v1 this Kilowattrel with ease. Goes for a Psychic, trying to catch the Dragalge pivot. Instead, we're going to go Cresselia, and I believe that reveals to be Specs damage. 17% into Cresselia feels like a lot. Maybe it's not, though. Maybe it's something else. Here, Ceaseless Edge gets helmeted and Draco Meteored, so now Samurott basically trades his life for that spike, and there is Court Change on the other side. This could be scary, right? There's a Court Change, you're all of a sudden in a like pretty tough situation. Now Surf comes out into what looks to be a specially defensive or AV Brambleghast. Here's a Poltergeist, knocks out the Kilowattrel, down it goes. Now Cinderace comes in, but it takes Hazards, which makes me think this is probably not Court Change. Yeah, that's, like usually when Cinderace takes Hazards, it's going to be like Choice Banded or some other offensive item. So no Court Change is a really big deal there. Iron Moth, gonna go for the Fiery Dance, knocks out Dragalge. How does that do 25? That makes me think once more that this is probably Specs Moth. Now Tarap comes in. I feel like you could just stay in with the Moth there, but instead gonna spin block with the Brambleghast. Goes for a spin of your own. It's the speed boost. And yeah, Flamethrower only does 56. So I think this is like offensive AV. Yeah, Power Up does 31 to Cress, but with the Citrus, will wall the Poltergeist. As we go into Iron Hands. As the Terra Poison gets clicked. Don't think we needed to Terra there. But maybe you don't need it on the Keldeo. Maybe it's fine. Now Iron Hands can go for some Terra Blasts. Force the Moonlight. And now what? Do we Swords Dance as Keldeo comes in? We do Swords Dance as Keldeo comes in. So a Hydro Pump here, gonna do a lot of damage. Drain Punch gonna get a little bit back. Can we kill this Iron Hands at 40? I assume you can, right? Yeah, Dark Pulse will knock it out. But the pieces are falling. Iron Valiant comes in. CC should just be a kill. I'm going to kill off the Terapagos there. Now Cresselia comes in. At 28, can it live? Looks like we don't have psychic coverage on this Iron Valiant, or it's like choiced. But still, yeah, that's a very powerful psychic. Misses a T-Wave, but I think odds are that probably doesn't make a big difference, as Samrock probably just comes in after, and Aqua Jet kind of thing. And that's gonna be the game. Lejon goes down. Brian ties up the series 1-1. Pretty big one. Managed to get like good value out of his breakers, and Hazard stayed up versus Cinderace plus Terrapagos. Not something you see every day, right? All right. Now we have Swish, Iron Boulders versus Offset Product. Offset Product, this is a welcome to Swish moment, right? That's a little bit tough. Toxic for your first DCL game, like first Team Tour draft game in general. Feels like a tough one, right? And Toxic is using Duraludon, something that like I think people have started to use in SV a little bit, and they've realized you don't actually need a Violite on this thing. It's actually just a good standalone Mon. Now bring it into Swish a little bit of that Dragon Spam kind of option if like the Steel and Fairy are kind of dicks, which you see Aromatisse and Kartana, that is the case, so we're bringing Duraludon. Alright, let's see the game. Raikou gonna lead off into the Garchomp, so good lead for Toxic. Can just kind of click Earthquake or Hazard. Goes for Earthquake as Balloon Aromatisse comes in. And it's gonna be Iron Tail Garchomp, which is going to miss. Now Earth Power into the Aqua Tail, so it's like, what? Expert Belt Garchomp? Gonna get traded by the Explosion Landorus. So ground types traded there. Fair enough. Now Victini into Blastoise reveals Helmet on the U-turn, as Duraludon comes in and reveals Helmet on the flip turn. So Spider-Man meme a little bit there. Now Hydreigon should force this out with Draco Meteor, as Uxie gonna be the pivot in, knows that a Dark Pulse is not coming, and gets the -2, the J-Ricky, the Rocks Up. Looking pretty good. Now Duraludon once more can punish a spin or flip turn with Helmet, but the Yawn comes out, trying to cover the Aegislash, but now Aegislash does come in on the spin, and again, back to the Duraludon, gets some chip. The streets demand some Wyatt 1 commentary. You there? The streets, unfortunately, will have to suffer a little bit longer. I don't think he's at the computer right now. But, flip turn on Helmet. The Blastoise is getting pretty low. After Rocks is going to be at 40%. Not really healthy enough to take on this Rapid Strike anymore. Uxie in on the Dragon Pulse. Looks like it's just going to be the sack to Hydreigon here. But this should allow in the Victini. We go into Rapid Strike, probably going to be Scarf then. The way we're playing. So probably just a U-turn. Close Combat instead into Aromatisse. Breaks the Balloon. That's fine. Can kind of just go into Victini. Punish whatever this Aromatisse wants to go for. Wish in the air. With a Wish in the air, you kind of have to Bolt Strike, right? Prevent the Wish into Blastoise. But Offset tries to read the Bolt Strike, but Toxic, he doesn't care. He's just going for V-Create, knocks out the Raikou. I think that was a fine play from Product, but Toxic just sees right through it. Now Hydreigon comes in, threatening a KO here. Goes for a Tailwind though, as Aegislash comes in. And that means that Aegislash is not going to get 2-hit KO. It's just going to take the one hit, Brick Break, knock out the Hydreigon. Now how can we take advantage of these Tailwind turns? Kartana comes in, but this is physically defensive. Rocky Helmet Duraludon, so we can just go to that. And Kartana can't really break this. Knockoff does 30. Sacred Sword probably does about 55. And Dark Pulse comes out, and Draco Meteor going to finish that off. Not willing to worry about a damage roll from Dark Pulse. Now Aromatisse comes in, but again, it's just a free Victini. Kartana doubles in. Are we Scarf Knock? Because I think this is Scarf Victini. We go for a knock, and we are actually Scarf on our Kartana, so goes down to the Dark Pulse on Duraludon, and Aromatisse should go down to Flash Cannon. Or we don't have Flash Cannon, we just go Aegislash, sure. To each their own. Yeah, Toxic just played this one very well. Good punishes on the Blastoise, really accelerates that Victini and Urshifu Aegislash kind of endgame, where like you have the 3 physical threats into the into the Blastoise, which can't handle all of them, right? Just overwhelm the Garchomp, or I keep saying Garchomp, overwhelm the Blastoise theory. So really well played there. And now what? That's 2-1 in favor of Trick of Eye in the series. But now we have VGC. I don't really know too much about either of these players. First time I'm seeing a Torterra on this channel, I'm pretty sure. But let's get into it. Alright, Aegislash, Bisharna versus Metagross and Rotom. What's the situation here? Rotom is kind of threatening... Threatening what, though? This Metagross is kind of annoying. Your Bisharna is definitely going to go for a Trick Room this turn, I want to say. Could see a Volt Switch from the Rotom into, like, Hydreigon or something. Yeah, this is a tough spot for Idle. Like, the Aegislash is a really solid lead here. Torterra pivots in as Trick onto the Bisharna, so locks it into whatever move it goes for. A crit Shadow Ball onto the Torterra for his Life Orb Aegislash. Whoa. And there's the Trick Room. Now Bisharna has to switch because it's choice locked into Trick Room. Eerie Impulse, Rotom Wash, for real? It could be, but I guess it's just Trick Scarf. Trick Scarf is interesting because you have like something faster than Arrow. Probably the theory behind leading Rotom Arrow, or Rotom Metagross, is that you can Bullet Punch and Volt Switch that slot, prevent the Tailwind. So that's probably something that Idle is like game planning around, but instead of leading off with a Trick Room mode, so it gets around that. I have Sylveon Aegislash in Trick Room. Aegislash gonna King Shield, just safe pivots here as Headlong Rush does so much damage to the Sylveon. And is it a double into that slot because you know it has a switch? It is not. So it gets the Sylveon in, maybe not safely, but gets it in. And now you just Shadow Ball Hyper Voice, right? Big damage into the Rotom, Hyper Voice knocks it out. And again, this Torterra can't really do anything. I guess now you have Bullet Punch to threaten. Oh, but Shadow Ball just kills it. We don't even Bullet Punch. So I'm trying to make a call maybe, or just doesn't have Bullet Punch, which I think would be weird given the lead. And now we just Shadow Ball and Hyper Voice. Bang. So a really dominant game one from Leyline of the Void. What is this guy's Smogon name? Oh, this is Piranha Plant. Okay. Makes sense. Now we go into game two. It really feels like Idle is not prepared for this Trick Room mode, so could even just go for it again. Aegislash and Bisharna, yeah, same thing. How are you going to respond? So you have Sneasler with Fake Out Pressure. Does go with a Fake Out into Bisharna, which is fair enough. Dark Pulses into Aegislash, but you live, even though it's Life Orb Hydreigon, that's crazy. And CC knocks it out. So you're going to flinch here, but a trade on the left slot here. And now how are we preventing the Trick Room? Garchomp comes out, goes for a Stomping Tantrum. It's Choice Scarf Garchomp. And Shell Smash gets the +2. Do we get the Trick Room up? We don't get the Trick Room up because we are Scarf Garchomp. We don't want to like neuter our own Garchomp, I guess. Another Stomping Tantrum into the Metagross. Woodhammer going to not kill the Bisharna. Citrus going to keep it relatively healthy. Ice Punch will knock out the Garchomp. We see a Trick Room here. We do see a Trick Room here. That's really good. Now Sylveon can come in. And after you get that Stomping Tantrum chip, now it's just Hyper Voice theory, right? Guaranteed sleep turn, you can just double attack the Metagross. Yeah, and that should be Sylveon wrapping it up again. So a really well played Trick Room mode on both games from Plant. And that's going to be Trick of Eye going up 3-1 in the series, or 3-2, is it? Oh no, that's 4-1, right? Toxic and now Plant have all won their games, so that's 4-1 or 3-1. I can't count, dude. 3-1. And now we have Thinking Sceptile versus Hex with this like Thanos rain mode, but facing the C team Toxicroak with Dry Skin. Oh my god. All right. That's a cool custom from Hex. I like that one. So champions with Mega Lopunny does have access to Sword Stance, Mach Punch, stuff like that. Which, like, Sword Stance, Mach Punch does seem kind of threatening. Outside of like the Swampert Revenge, like maybe Dragonite can handle it, but you do have Triple Axle as well. Lopunny just has a lot of moves in Champions. So let's get into it. Swampert leads off into the Meowscarada. A good lead for Sep, and can just go for a U-turn. I don't think Swampert really wants to stay in and risk. Does stay in and risk. Just says you're probably Scarf Meow, so I'm just going to get my rocks up. Fair enough. Now Swampert on Swampert action goes for a knockoff, gets rid of the leftovers as we're just going to get a Misto flip into probably Serperior. Yeah, Serperior comes in, and now Serp is a big problem for Thinking Sceptile. So our Chaladon comes in. It's a 4x resist to Leaf Storm, but feels like you can just leech the Arch. Chooses not to leech the Arch. What is our set if not leech? Maybe it's Scarf Serp. If so, like, why are we going to an early game? I don't know. Maybe just don't have another option into the Swampert. Regardless, your Swampert's going to go down to the Pelipper. Now Hydreigon in for a big hit. There's no resist to Drake. There's no resist to Draco. Click it. The hell? Bro. We're predicting the switch to nobody. Like, the hell? Lopunny in. Doubles into Aegis slash... Come on, man. Now it's just another Electroshot. The hell? Okay, a massive fumble of the position from Hex. Now Hydreigon comes into Draco? We could have just 2-KO'd with this on the Switch earlier, and now we have to sack like 3 Pokemon. Does this even kill? Okay, it does kill. But like, come on. So this does open up a little bit of Serperior, but there's still an entire Dragonite. Sludge Bomb into the Toxicroak. Probably Earth Power follow-up. It is Shookaberry, which makes sense into the Mega Swampert. Earthquake gonna knock out the Glamora. That's my GOAT Toxicroak. But yeah, it does feel like Dragonite just is able to win here. Goes for an E-Speed, takes Rocks though. And a Life Orb? Hold on, Lopunny forces this out. All of a sudden there might be a Serperior reverse sweep on the cards if this is not Scarf on Meowscarada. But like, if it wasn't Scarf, how do you explain the turn 1? So like, there's no way this is like, yeah, we just lose, right? And with this, I believe Trickify wins the series? Or is this 4-1? So like, yeah, 4-1 guarantees at least a tie. Yeah, Hex just forfeits. He sees the writing on the wall. And yeah, it was Scarf Serp. A 4-1, really dominant from Trickify so far as we go on to Game 6. Hacker versus Rage. All right, this is Oras. Hacker needs to win this one to keep his team in the running for even a tie, right? They need the next 3 in a row. But Rage has a Mega Absol team, so maybe Hacker's up for the job. But yeah, Garchomp, Thundurus, Sylveon. This is the other team with a Sylveon besides my team. I think Sylveon is hella underrated in Oras right now, so good to see that Mon getting more usage. And Thundurus, kind of a relatively new pairing to Garchomp, I want to say. Maybe we've seen it before in the past, but usually Garchomp goes for different pairings. Is that even true? I feel like I've seen this before. Maybe I'm just yapping. I'm going to stop yapping. Let's just look at the game. Mesprit going to lead off into Thundurus. Could be Rocks up immediately from the Mesprit. That is physically defensive out the ass. So physically defensive Mesprit probably carrying Ice Beam for the Garchomp. Maybe like T-Wave for the Victini. If we want to take a V-Create and T-Wave it back, that could be pretty useful. But here, T-Bolt going to do a lot of damage. Just going to U-turn out. Sure, Rocks up, U-turn into Registeel. Sure, not exactly getting offensive pressure out of this turn. Ice Punch into Empoleon, and Empoleon should be able to just trade rocks here. Or Defog, that works too. As Earthquake comes out, does 45, so good chip, but the Defog did come out, which is important for Thunder's Victini, and rocks go up, so Empoleon does its job, gets the rocks off, gets the rocks on. Now Latios in, but Sylveon can just come in here. Life Orb Latios, so probably carrying Psyshock, but Sylveon nowhere close to in range right now. Can just throw up a Wish, I think. Or just double to Victini, that works too. Now, just have a V-Create. Latios can come in, do you U-turn? Oh, it's a substitute. Okay, sure. Sub-lefties Victini is interesting. What's the concept behind that? You're probably like max HP to sub on Registeel Cyclotoss, and like Dazzling Gleam into Latios. Forces a Roost as Empoleon switches in. T-Bolt doesn't kill, brings it down to Torrent range. Can this Empoleon kill Latios? Not quite. So actually you can roost this off potentially. So a pivot to Thundurus, and now probably just a knockoff or a U-turn or something like that. Say knockoff more likely, as Registeel comes in, removes the leftovers, and you can just Volt Switch. Some good chip on this into Victini as rocks go up. So it's double rocks here. But yeah, we can just go for a Blue Flare, knock this out. And now what? We go Latios, can roost on this, but Dazzling Gleam is like low-key doing enough. You can stay. Yeah, take the Dragon Pulse. It's Life Orb Latios. It will go down to the Dazzling Gleam. So Victini gets 2 kills there, which is nice. And now Absol comes in. And here's the thing, right? Absol, this is like such a horrible position for Rage, because with ORAS speed mechanics, this is slower than Victini for the first turn. And it's revealed sub. Are you going to sucker into sub? Are you going to protect your Absol into sub? Are you going to knock off into Blue Flare? It's just so fucked, you know? We go for it. We Sucker Punch on the sub. Like, Mega Absol is so shit. I'm not gonna, like, especially in ORAS. Like, in Usum, at least it gets the speed immediately. But, like, holy shit. What a horrible Pokemon. Now, Torrentee comes in. Air Slash, not gonna do the job. We're T-Bolt over Thunder, though. Like, usually with Victory Star, you're able to afford Thunder, and it's just worth it to run. Here, would have killed the Thunder, or the Torn, but T-Bolt probably does enough to win. Like, we're so ahead in this game. I feel like we can just go Garchomp if it's Scarf, or if it's not Scarf even, like, just live the hit. Dragon Claw, be Earthquake Dragon Claw, right? Is this Scarf or Shuka Nidoking? We're gonna scout it. We have an Empoleon on a sack, why not? As T-Spike goes up, okay. That was cute, I like that. But now, like, you just go Thundurus, knock off, remove any, like, Shuka, anything. Psychic works too. As, yeah, that's like AV Thundurus, so there really was just no way to win. And down goes the Mesprit. Hacker with a very dominant showing in this game. Got all the plays right, especially versus that Absol with Victini. That was kind of the nail in the coffin, right? But okay, keeps his team alive as we go on to game 7. I believe this is game 7, right? Yeah, so it's 4-2. Still drawable if JCM can defeat Halu. Alright, Terra types, we have Steel on the Urshifu. This is Urshifu what? Urshifu Single Strike. Not Rapid, and on the other side, or I guess the other Terra is Electric Crest. Into Zapdos makes a lot of sense. Get the boost on T-Bolt into stuff like Keldeo and King Gambit. And honestly, G-King as well. On the other side, we see Terra Fire Zapdos, is that right? Or are we just tearing stuff for fun? No, it is Terra Fire Zapdos, and the King Gambit is Terra Fairy. Alright, get into it. Deoxys lead into Zapdos, lead Deoxys, usually going to be hazards, especially into a team like this, which isn't necessarily weak to offensive Deoxys. So it gets up a spike on T-Wave, Volt switches into Roaring Moon on the rocks, and now it goes for a knockoff. It's Colbur Berry though, so still dies, probably means Choice Banded Roaring Moon. So Iron Treads is going to come in, get the booster attack, and knockoff still does 57. Holy shit. But Ice Spinner will knock it out thanks to the attack boost on Treads. Now Keldeo comes in, and the Water Resist is sacking a Pokemon. So we go Clefable. Oh, but that actually lives Surf. This is like Max Spadef Clefable, looks like. Yeah, into Max Spadef Clefable, you do need to be Specs Hydro Pump to 2-hit KO, so maybe playing a little bit too safe from JCM side. Kind of needed to Hydro there. And now a knockoff onto the G-King's Boots. Just Moonlight with Clefable, I suppose, but Sludge Bomb's doing too much. You can't sustain this. Another Moonlight, I guess. G-King mixes it up. I feel like predicting the Iron Treads maybe, but now King Gambit comes in. Should force out this Clef into Petrarunt, but Petrarunt pretty safe. And just kind of Parting Shot here, you know it's not Defiant. Doesn't Parting Shot, so probably doesn't have it. The Urshifu come in. Isn't that what Terra Fairy's for? Why didn't we Terra Fairy? Urshifu comes in on Swords Dance. Like, is this not the situation you want for like your Terra Fairy? Maybe like he's hard calling the Terra Steel Iron Head from Urshifu this turn. Or just trying to fish for static, I suppose? I don't know, I feel like you had the position you wanted and just let it slip. Now Electric Crest comes in. That Volt does absolutely nothing. And G-King comes in on the T-Bolt. Only does 19, so not offensively invested on the Cresselia, but can just Calm Mind as we chilly out into what? Into what exactly? Landorus? Into like a physically defensive Crest? That's Terra Electric? Probably not, right? Yeah, 12%. What is the plan? Looks like the plan into this Crest is dead, because Roaring Moon is the only thing that can do real damage to this, it looks like. Goes for a Yawn. Okay, so Crest is going to be put to sleep next turn. Can Chilly here. Lunar Blessing tries to cure the drowsiness. That's not how it works. So you can go into King Gambit and Swords Dance here. Terra is exhausted, so Urshifu doesn't have that available next time. Here's the Swords Dance. Can just kind of go for an attack here, pick up a KO. And Curse gets clicked from the Petronet. Rocky Helmet Curse. Gonna bring this King Gambit down pretty low into range of maybe even +1 Thunderbolt. So yeah, gets the Crest in on the Lando to burn some sleep turns as rocks go up. I mean, this Crest looks like it's just gonna win. Taunts the Crest, like, that's fine, right? You can just Ice Beam. With 2 hazards up, it's like good chip no matter what you go into. Max sleep turns, okay, so Cresselia will wake up this turn, can't just go for a T-Bolt. With Lunar Blessing, you're like not afraid of Sludge Bomb poisons, which is nice, or Toxics. It looks like Crest is just gonna win. Like, what are you supposed to do as JCM Shadow? You're supposed to have your Roaring Moon alive. That's what you're supposed to do. So sacking the Roaring Moon into Treads, maybe a little bit short-sighted. Could have gone... it's attack booster. You can't really go into Zapdos or anything, but you could have pivoted into Keldeo, right? Maybe that was like the game-losing mistake, right? Sacking the Moon. Now it gets a good Keldeo position, but again, Clefable can just come in. Oh, there's the pump. Yeah, we should have pumped earlier as well. But it's Citrus Berry even. Like, maybe we're just cooked. And again, like, not going for the roll there feels strange. Like, you're already behind so much in this game, you need a KO there. Right? It gets Gambit in, at least, on the Clefable, but it's pretty low Gambit. Do SD here? You Iron Head. Probably Sucker? Yeah, Sucker knocks out the Treads. But you could just go Urshifu now. Force the Terra on King Gambit. Yeah, see, as Zapdos comes in, we get the static. We do get the static. Okay, so maybe Gambit can do something. Volt switches on the Urshifu into Lando T. Gets the Intim. And Close Combat Resist. Okay. Now you can just U-turn as Lando, I think. Oh, it's eject button. Sure, same thing. Zapdos in, can go for a Volt switch here. Cresselia in, you have to go King Gambit and you have to go for game, I think. We don't go Gambit. Why? We need to Yawn it first, I suppose? This allows a Calm Mind, though. Yawn. Now we Chilly. We go Lando. I think we needed a Chilly there, because now Crest gets to burn its sleep turns in front of Lando instead of in front of King Gambit. Like, I think we don't even go King Gambit. Like, what was the plan? Yeah, just let it wake up. Brilliant. Yeah, we just lose to Cresselia. Game's over. Finally taunted at +2. Max sleep turns again. So we just went to King Gambit and Swords Dance and like just killed this. Like, I feel like we just won the game, right? But JCM, not interested in that. Gonna just instead lose to Cresselia, because T-Bolt will kill the G-King from this range. And yeah, that's a little bit embarrassing, I think. Yeah, bang, 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 bang. And with that, Halu clinches the series for Trick-of-Eye 5-3, or 5-2 even. And we have the Game 8, which at this point only matters for Diff. Let's breeze through it. It's Fairy Terras all around except for the hands, which is Ghost. Peck's in on the double two hands. Now double to Goldango on guard shop. Okay, we're kind of waffling here. Stays into Nasty Plot using the threat of Terra Fairy there. And another Nasty Plot on the switch to Darkrai. Now you're going to Terra Fairy. But Orin Latios going to call that with a Specs Sludge Bomb from Darkrai, but it's not enough. Max HP Goldango eats that up, eats the J-Rookie as well. Now Garchomp comes in, but it's physically defensive. Goldango lives the Earthquake, and that's a 2-for-1 special. Now Jirachi comes in, picks off the Goldango, which is totally fine. You take that trade. Now Darkrai in, goes for a Nasty Plot on the Dazzling Gleam. Probably going to be Mirror Herb Darkrai in this matchup versus Blaziken, because you protect, get the speed boost, but Darkrai copies the speed boost. Like, you have to be Scarf from Smagius, which it is Scarf from Smagius to revenge kill the Darkrai, but that could have been cool if we saw the Blaziken interaction. Now Glamora in, goes for an Earth Power because we know we're locked into Dazzle. The other two are weak to ground. Really nice. And just matching light screens there, I suppose. Sure. Now Garchomp comes in, takes 11%. And now Miss Magius has to pivot in, but Agent Flame on top of that goes for a Scale Shot, catches Miss Magius on the switch, but it's not loaded dice, so won't, like, kill. And now a Trick comes out, scarfs up the Glamora, but yeah, this is looking pretty cooked. We go for a Memento, just for the love of the game. I love that. Now Garchomp comes in, but dodges Icy Wind and goes for the Scale Shot. Okay, knocks out the Miss Magius. Would have loved to hit that, I'm sure. And now Blaziken comes in. It is Terra Fairy Blaziken, can potentially Swords Dance on this Garchomp, is going to choose to do so as Mesprit comes in. Now, +2 Blaziken is not going to kill Mesprit from full. So do we have like Encore? Do we have... So we can Encore into Flare Blitz. That would be really like a game-winning play. But if this Blaziken just clicks Terra Blast and we Encore, aren't we fucked? Because everything would then die to Terra Blast. This game's not over. We go for a second Swords Dance, so if this is Encore, Agent looks like they're going to win, but it's something far more sinister. Trick Lagging Tail. Make sure this Blaziken cannot possibly speed boost faster than these guys, will always be slower. And with that, Jirachi has revealed not to be Scarf or anything. Garchomp literally just won the game. And we have Encore on top of it. Yeah, this is completely over. Mesprit can go for a U-turn if it has it, or just hard chomp. Either way, game's done. See, Earthquake does 91 as well. That is an Adamant Garchomp versus no bulk Blaziken. And Agent Flame with the really cool Mesprit tech, as well as the Goldango getting a lot of value early game. Funny enough, the Garchomp is slower than Jirachi. Makes sense because it's Adamant, right? I remember like calking versus Blaziken, and like it has to be Adamant Garchomp to do that much. Alright, that's going to be that series, and that's going to be the end of the stream for today. I might have time tomorrow to go over this last series, but don't have time today. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time for, what is this last series? It's going to be the Punks versus the Foxes. Alright, peace. See you guys.